8 de la mañana, bienvenidos. Lo pone sobre la mesa Trump, Newsom, Trump. La pelea entre los mexicanos que no quieren estar en Estados Unidos y los mexicanos que quieren estar en Estados Unidos. La propaganda está a toda madre. Nosotros los pacos nos encargamos de decirle a todo el mundo todo lo que nos dicen, poniendo la fotografía enfrente de todos ustedes y luego preguntándonos cómo es que el mercado sigue subiendo ante toda esta... estas malas noticias y violencia. En fin, platiquemos de ello. Bienvenidos todos ustedes al Casino del Tío Salo, por supuesto que sí, 8 de la mañana. Vamos a empezar a darle con todo. Vamos a platicar el día de hoy, por supuesto, antes de entrar a nuestro en vivo, rápidamente de lo que estamos viendo en estas protestas en Los Ángeles, porque se tiene que tocar el tema, es un poco... duele verlo, digamos, y de ahí nos vamos a brincar a ver todas las tablas y todo lo que necesitemos, el precio de Bitcoin, el precio de Solana, probablemente, el precio de todo lo que ustedes nos digan en realidad. Así que vamos a empezar vamos a empezar desde la mañana. Como todos ustedes saben, tenemos a todos los pacos, a todos, diciéndonos y contándonos su punto de vista acerca de quién está en lo correcto en estas protestas de los mexicanos. ¿Qué no eran los inmigrantes? ¿Por qué todos son mexicanos? ¿Eh? ¿No sabes? ¿No? Yo tampoco. Ok, bueno, no hay nadie ahí, en realidad es una plática conmigo mismo, pero pero ahí lo tienen, ¿no? Lo que les quiero poner enfrente es rápidamente, vamos a empezar con cómo esparcen y cómo comunican estas cosas y cómo lo ponen enfrente de todos, porque lo que están haciendo es encender a todo el mundo. Lo que estamos platicando el día de hoy para todos los que no vivan en Estados Unidos o no escuchen las noticias o no estén viendo a todos los pacos en X, en YouTube, etcétera, platicar de esto se los voy a dar rapidísimo y contadito. Aparentemente hay protestas en contra de ICE, que es la organización que se encarga de básicamente regular inmigración y a los inmigrantes que están acá, a los legales o ilegales. Y ICE, normalmente conocidos, son los que por llevarse a los mexicanos y deportarlos, al igual que a cualquier otra persona que viva en este país, pues es básicamente una protesta en contra de ellos. Y por alguna razón en esta protesta en contra de ellos solamente aparece en todas las noticias que todos son mexicanos. Y ahora todo el mundo se está peleando que quién está haciendo esto porque están quemando la mitad de Los Ángeles. Hay videos de motos, gente aventándole piedras a los coches, etcétera. Y vamos a disecar todo esto porque esto va más allá de las estupideces que nos cuentan y esto es justo lo que nos debería de hacer enojar como ciudadanos. Ahora, voy a platicar de esto y de cómo construyen la realidad en la que vivimos para todos ustedes. Después de esto, en un Nadie Me Preguntó, por supuesto. Pero por ahora vamos a discutir lo que estamos viendo y les voy a poner esto enfrente para que lo tengan bien presente, ¿ok? Y aquí vamos a empezar en X rápidamente con lo que nos están contando, ¿no? Con todas las cosas que ponen. Acaba de abrir X, ¿no? Ahí tienes a Greta. Por cierto, los que no entiendan por qué Greta Thunberg, que ahora fue secuestrada por el gobierno de Israel en lo que iba a ayudar a Palestina, la razón por la que dirían, güey, ¿cómo es que Greta está ayudando a Palestina? Es porque la odian y están usando que la odian para que la gente odie el mensaje a Palestina. Espero que entiendan eso. Vamos rápido hasta arriba, ¿no? Vamos a empezar, obviamente, el gran Jackbe con esto. Pero todo lo que estamos viendo, ¿no? Marines deployed, acaban de sacar a toda la gente de sus barquitos. Aquí está más de estas cosas y cosas quemándose en Los Ángeles, por supuesto. Aquí está la gran bandera mexicanota en todas estas protestas, por supuesto que sí. Parece que se le están pasando a toda madre estos güeyes, por cierto. Aquí hay más de estas cosas. Es literalmente todo, mi maldito feed. Saludos a Teddy, por supuesto. Se trata de esto, de todo Estados Unidos, de Los Ángeles, y son súper, y pueden ver que todo viene también de la televisión, ¿no? No les estoy poniendo absolutamente nada que no hayan visto. Aquí tienen más, banderas mexicanas también ahí atrás, vean acá. Solamente los mexicanos se pararon a protestar y aquí tienes a gente hablando de ello, que son los pacos, por supuesto. Esta se supone que es Karen Bass, la alcalde de Los Ángeles o como se llame. Y ahí les va el cuento completo de lo que están poniendo. Nunca se han puesto a pensar, y recuerden, yo estoy aquí solamente para darles otro punto de vista, igual estoy completamente mal en todo lo que les estoy diciendo, pero ahora les quiero preguntar esto. ¿Cuándo en su vida han visto que la gente en verdad, y esto aplica en casi todos los países en realidad de la manera correcta,
¿Cuándo han visto que la gente proteste cosas importantes y no temas estúpidos que siguen siendo tema a debate abierto políticamente? ¿Y a qué me refiero con esto? Gente protestando por aborto, gente protestando por racismo, gente protestando porque quieren ser transexuales o que no quieren, o lo que sea de ese pedo, gente protestando porque mataron a un negro en no sé dónde, gente protestando por cosas que siempre pasan una y otra vez. Pero ahora, y esto lo vemos todo el tiempo, ¿no? Están protestando todo el tiempo de todas estas cosas que son tan importantes que literalmente cada 2 años, cuando se les antoja, la sacan y la gente se vuelve loca y van a protestar. ¿Alguien me puede decir por qué nunca hemos ido a protestar inflación? ¿Por qué no vamos a protestar la guerra? ¿Por qué no vamos a protestar fondeo de guerra y fondeo de armar a otros gobiernos, etcétera? ¿Por qué nunca vamos a protestar porque nuestra comida está envenenada en Estados Unidos? Y todo el mundo lo sabe, ya es cosa de que todo el mundo lo sabe y lo dejamos ahí. ¿Por qué nadie va a protestar que el agua tiene todas estas mamadas en ella también en Estados Unidos? ¿Por qué nadie va a protestar que nuestro servicio médico en Estados Unidos es una mierda, el más caro, y si te rompes una pierna y no tienes seguro, tienes que deber por el resto de tu puta vida dinero para todo el mundo? ¿Por qué no vamos a protestar esas cosas que importan y que deberían de cambiar, pero siempre estamos protestando pendejadas? Nadie se ha preguntado el por qué. ¿Por qué somos tan buenos juntándonos entre todos y muy valientes para poder pelear por algo que en 2 semanas se nos va a olvidar y volvernos a pelear en otro año? Pero no por las cosas que realmente importan. Nadie se ha preguntado eso. Y ahora les voy a poner una sugerencia enfrente de todos ustedes. Yo diría que lo que causa eso es simplemente que estas protestas no son reales, son protestas fondeadas literalmente por el gobierno de Estados Unidos para poder crear ciertas narrativas. Ahora, ¿qué clase de narrativas podemos estar creando? Y mucha gente me va a referir a un clip de nuestra señora presidenta del bienestar, que Dios la bendiga, que habla de lo siguiente y dice: sí, el presidente Donald Trump se atreve a poner impuestos sobre las remesas. Nos vamos a movilizar, nos vamos a movilizar. Ok, ahora lo entienden, han visto ese video, estoy seguro. Por favor, adelántenlo y pónganlo en velocidad a 10x para que lo puedan ver, porque si no es imposible. Seguro han visto eso. Y ahora, ¿qué quiere? Cuando yo lo vi que dijo eso, ¿no? Que nos vamos a movilizar. ¿Qué quiere decir que nos vamos a movilizar? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer? Y ahora están vendiendo la idea de que la gente protestando en Estados Unidos con las banderas de México tiene que ver con ello. Ahora, la agarraron mal parada, en mi opinión, o también puede que Estados Unidos sea dueño de nuestra presidenta, aunque yo sé que no, porque no existe la corrupción en México, todos lo sabemos, solamente hay bienestar saliendo por todos lados, de las axilas, del culo, de mi pito, de todos lados está saliendo el bienestar. Sabemos que no hay corrupción en México, eso es entendible. Pero a menos de que Trump tenga un trato con ella para poder calibrar esto y poder armar un pedo y que lo haga parecer que tiene algo que ver, piensen en esto. La gente que se fue de México y se fue de México porque no pueden vivir bien y porque su familia no les alcanza y tienen que sacrificar absolutamente todo. Toda esa gente que se largó de México, por eso está ahora a mandos de la presidenta que los tiene en la mierda todos aquí en Estados Unidos, porque en México el bienestar está fluyendo como la cerveza. Pero aquí en Estados Unidos, ¿eso tiene algo de realidad? La otra cosa, ¿en verdad tiene algo de realidad que todo el mundo le esté aventando? ¿Tiene algo de realidad que solamente los mexicanos van a protestar en contra de que estén sacando inmigrantes ilegales? Y estaba platicando, hay un tío que se llama Pedro Ferriz, creo que su papá era, no tengo ni puta idea, no, creo que trabajaba en noticias, un pedo así. No sé si él también o no, pero le comenté, hay muchos de estos pacos en línea y tu youtuber favorito puede ser un paco sin saberlo. No se trata, ellos no están aquí para atacarte, ellos están aquí para repetir lo que les dice el jefe, el dueño del perico, es el que les pone eso y eso son las noticias o otras personas. Y después le cae a tu paco favorito en línea, que también muchos de estos pacos son no reales, son simplemente cuentas, no tienen nada que ver con la realidad. Y pues estos pacos tienen que repetir todo esto. Y todo el mundo está súper indignado en México, ¿no? De, esta es la fotografía que estamos dejando en el extranjero. No son ustedes, tío. Es tan falso esto que estoy seguro han visto los videos de coches de policía pasar en putiza y hay un güey aventándoles piedras. Y una tras otra. Para empezar, nadie alrededor de ese güey está de, güey, ¿qué estás haciendo? Nadie. Las protestas no son así, eso es mentira. La segunda, si estás aventando piedras del tamaño del que está aventando a coches de policías sin que no te estén dando permiso, puedes matar a cualquier persona. Y mucha gente dirá, pero es que, güey, tenían que ir a lugares más importantes de donde están intentando matar a policías en lo que pasan. Luego también han visto las fotos de todos los coches de policía debajo de un puente, ¿no? Lo mejor es, los policías están bien guardaditos para que no les caigan piedras ni nada abajo del puente, pero dejaron sus coches afuera del puente para que puedan caerles todas las piedras encima. Estas marchas son provocadas por nuestro gobierno, fondeadas a través de USAID, y van a preguntarme, pues, ¿qué es lo que buscan? No estamos buscándole pedo a México y esto literalmente pone enfrente de toda la gente vean, los mexicanos están sin control. Ahora Donald Trump va a tener que actuar. La otra cosa, Donald Trump mandó a llamar a, ¿cómo se llama? A la Guardia Nacional, un pedo así. Y en Estados Unidos ese es un pedote y ahora se está peleando él con Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom lo está demandando. La razón por la que hizo eso es para llamar más la atención a este tipo de funciones que nos están dando. Esto es un show, están creando una realidad que no existe. Los inmigrantes mexicanos, ¿por qué se van a ir a putear a todo el mundo cuando están chambeando aquí y se tienen que quedar aquí para poder mandar dinero a casa? No están aquí echando desmadre como la gran cantidad de nosotros, están aquí porque tienen que chambear y es a lo que se dedican. ¿Y por qué solamente los mexicanos? Y esto funciona en toda esa retórica política. Funciona en esa retórica en contra de Gavin Newsom, funciona en la retórica, tiene tantos ángulos, recuerden, no solamente uno. Esto no es México contra Estados Unidos, esto es Estados Unidos fondeando, dándoles ladrillos a todas estas personas para que avienten cosas y los han visto en todos lados. Es el mismo cuento repetido y todos los pacos, tus pacos favoritos, van a analizar solamente el problema. Y el problema analizado por los pacos suena así. En verdad es culpa de los mexicanos me dan vergüenza los mexicanos, no deberíamos deportarnos así. Cuando no entiendes que no es tu gente, cuando no entiendes que lo que están haciendo es lavándote la cabeza para que digas estas estupideces, y es por eso que me salen piedras en el pito cuando escucho estas estupideces de todo el mundo. ¿Cuántas veces podemos caer en esto? Una vez más, ¿por qué no protestamos cosas importantes? ¿Por qué solamente nos juntamos a aventar piedras a cosas y a quemar todo el planeta cuando hacen una de las cosas que se han repetido una y otra vez, y estos temas como inmigración, que te cambiaste el sexo, que ¿por qué no nos vamos a pelear por lo que importa? ¿Por qué no todos nos juntamos en México, por ejemplo, en vez, ¿no? Que están los profesores en no sé qué bloqueando, no sé qué puta madre traigan en México, pero ¿por qué no vamos todos a México a protestar y a ponernos al pedo en contra de la corrupción, olviden, no hay corrupción, perdón, de los asaltos y las muertes del bienestar? ¿Por qué no todo el mundo en un país de esos donde sabes que te va a tocar? ¿Cuánta gente no conocen que han muerto a través de una pistola? Personalmente, yo conozco a demasiadas y mi papá se murió así también y conozco a tantos amigos y amigas que han perdido a su papá en un asalto, en una pendejada de esas, en México, ¿no? Pero eso no lo vamos a protestar. No, 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 no. Vamos a protestar que no me dejan tener el pelo morado, pendejos. Por el amor de Dios, dejen de caer en estas estupideces, dejen de escuchar a sus pacos favoritos. O si van a escuchar a sus pacos favoritos, que sea por el amor de Dios solamente por entretenimiento como lo hago yo. Les va a alivianar todo el pedo y no caer en estas estupideces que nos hacen pelearnos unos con otros. Recuerden, a fin de cuentas lo que quieren es dividirnos a todos en México mismo, para que estemos peleados y también que vean lo que está haciendo la presidenta. No tiene nada que ver, ni ella ni nadie. Aquí literalmente es Estados Unidos armando este pedo para hacer lo que vayan a hacer. No entiendo, no voy a predecir qué van a hacer ni nada, pero sí entiendo que esto es falso. Y en todos lados, si nos vamos a movilizar por algo y todos somos una bola de putos porque no lo vamos a hacer, incluyéndome a mí, o sea, no me voy a meter en ninguno de estos pedos, no me puedo meter en nada de inflación. Solamente con lo que hago acá me están intentando acabar la vida, deteniendo todos mis canalitos de Instagram, de YouTube, de todo esto. porque esto es lo que no quieren que salga. Y lo único que hacen es, no te censuran, le bajan al volumen a tu radio y le suben al volumen a todas estas cosas y a todos los pacos hablando de ella. Y todos los pacos repitiendo la misma cosa para que todos los bandos se peleen y no podamos ponernos de acuerdo y ver la simple cosa que esto es orquestado y que deberíamos estar hasta el culo y emputadísimos y en verdad protestando porque hacen estas cosas. No por lo que estamos viendo en la tele, pero porque hacen estas cosas. Porque ¿qué clase de gobiernos en el mundo le hacen esto a su población? Y solamente para sus fines personales. Esto no es real. Esto es lo que nos debería de imputar. No deberíamos estar tomando lados que si los inmigrantes, que si los mexicanos, que si la... No tienen nada que ver. Esto, damas y caballeros, es lo que nos debería encabronar absolutamente todos, que hacen estas gatadas fondeadas por el gobierno de Estados Unidos a través de NGOs. Lo tenemos acá en California, esta NGO, y no se los voy a dejar aquí antes de irme, solamente se los voy a poner acá, porque es imputante. Denme un segundo, aquí está, rápidamente. I'm right with you boys in a second, promise. Aquí lo tienen. So one of the lead NGOs organizations, Riot's got $34 million in the government grants from the state of California just last year alone. Entonces, esta organización para que organiza estas protestas le dieron $34 millones el gobierno de California solamente el año pasado. Y aquí tiene todas las pruebas, mi estimado. Pum, pum, pum. Coalition for Human Immigrants, $33 millones para que vayan y armen estos pedos, por si no lo creen, damas y caballeros. Y es así de fácil, es así de fácil. No nos peleemos, no caigan en la gatada de que si son los mexas, que si son los inmigrantes, que si son esto. Lo que nos debería de estar ofendiendo en este momento es que nuestros gobernantes hagan esto en contra de nosotros cuando esa bola de putos trabaja para nosotros. Somos pendejos, cabrones. Y seguimos escuchando a los pacos, seguimos cayendo en estas mamadas, siguiendo en un círculo que nunca acaba porque nadie se acuerda de nada y nadie aprende nada. Y los mismos pacos solamente sacan clics, sacan hits de esto y vuelven al mismo ciclo. Es el ciclo de nunca acabar, sobre todo en línea, donde todo el mundo tiene la imaginación y creen que viven en una realidad donde es completamente independiente y que nosotros somos las voces. No es cierto. Le suben al volumen a todas estas voces cuando pasan estas cosas porque es lo que quieren y le bajan el volumen a la sensatez. No seas de los que caen en el otro lado, sé de los buenos. Aquí tengo a Alex, aquí tengo a Farhan, pero antes de eso, para todos ustedes que están aprendiendo a tradear, que están aprendiendo a invertir, se me hace importante en este momento, ya saben que aquí los invitamos a Elite Trading Academy. Caigan a nuestro Discord, damas y caballeros. Uno de los mejores lugares para venir a aprender y platicar con todo el mundo y también apoyarte en cualquier cosa que necesites de trading. Aquí lo tienen. Es el Discord de Elite Trading Academy. Déjenme acerco para que lo puedan ver mejor. Aquí tienen todos los menús a la izquierda. Es completamente gratis y la idea de esto es vengan a apoyarse y también escuchar todos los análisis de Farhan y de Alex, pero vengan a apoyarse en la comunidad por si ellos tienen más ideas, están viendo cosas que nosotros no vemos. Siempre es bueno tener diferentes puntos de vista en esto. Aquí tienen todos los análisis de Alex, los de Farhan por acá, tienen anuncios, tienen el chat general por acá. Excelente. Ganaron los toros, damas y caballeros, ese pinche pompazo de Bitcoin. También tienen acá el criptolingo por si hay cosas que estamos platicando en los en vivos que no entienden. Aquí lo tienen en español y en inglés también. Vengan a compartir sus ganancias. Vamos a ver si Tomatito está activo. Vamos a ver si Tomatito está activo. No mames. Me fue bien ahí con mi... A veces pasa, a veces pasa. Me fue bien con mi... ¿Cómo se llama? Con mi long de Tesla. Bien, acá también se la sacó, mi estimado. Aunque en corto y Tomatito, pues ahí está el mismo, el manager de la presidenta Nancy Pelosi, del portafolio de Nancy Pelosi, aquí está Tomatito. Así que vengan a compartir con nosotros y también están nuestros enlaces. Acuérdense que estamos dando en este torneo de trading la posibilidad de ganar hasta $10,000 con Elite Trading Academy, con Bluffin. Lo único que tienen que hacer para participar y también si quieren tradear futuros con nosotros, vengan a nuestro sitio web. Lo único que tienen que hacer es le picas a Tutos, hijo. Una vez que le piques en Tutos, cómo tradear en Bluffin, te da un video de 5 minutitos de cómo se usa el exchange para si quieres tradear futuros de criptomonedas. Y aquí tienes el enlace. Usando este enlace te automáticamente suscribes, eres parte de la comunidad y estás ahí. Y una vez más, se los he dicho una y otra vez, si Alex o Farhan llegan a ganar, ¿no? Uno de los top 2 lugares, algo así, porque hace unos días Farhan estaba en número 1, pero ya estaba en número 2. Obviamente no les vamos a dar a ellos el premio, se los vamos a dar a quien quede debajo de ellos si es que se llega a dar ese escenario. Por si están preocupados porque los están viendo ahí, no se preocupen, obviamente es para ustedes. $10,000, nada mal. Aquí los tienen, damas y caballeros, sin más ni más. Tengo a Alex, tengo a Farhan, vamos a empezar a darle a esto. Good.
Buenos días, muchachos.
That's it. How are you?
What? Doing well. I was actually doing not so well over the weekend. Friday, I was feeling like death. Today, I'm feeling great.
Good.
That's
Good.
good.
You look good. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So,
Right over the weekend.
yeah, like in a porn movie, I got fucked by Bitcoin really good this morning. So I want to know what's going on. What are you guys seeing? And I saw that Alex is sharing the screen with me. So I'm going to share that shit because
It's just simply written in the stars. It's got to go by the moon.
I hate this
Can't
so
go
much,
wrong.
but I also love it because it's so stupid, but so true.
It works every time.
Yeah,
Unreal.
It is funny because the moons do outtrade us at the end of the day. And what we're referring to for people who don't know is the moon phases. Full moons often are bull or bear moon. This is, I think, an over 70% hit rate. Bear moon often results in a dump. I think this one was a failure, though. Better example is this: bull moon, pump up; bear moon, dump. I think there's a bull moon brewing. Farn, when is it?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow.
It's ridiculous.
These can fail, but I mean, if you just look so far, it's pretty
Recently,
tragic.
the bull ones have been playing out tremendously.
Yeah, this was the last one, right in this zone, and then we had this nice move up, basically from the low 103s all the way up to all-time high. But for me now, I mean, let's backtrack. What's going on? Where are we, and what are markets looking like to me? Over the weekend, I mean, we basically wasted a lot of time watching markets. Bitcoin was pressing up against resistance all weekend. We were we were understanding where we were, which was when we rallied up to this point, we were watching this high here that was formed on June 4th. The high was at exactly 106K. This was very important for me to break because what we had going into June 7th was a nice reclaim of the daily 9. This was very important because through this whole entire rally, we were seeing Bitcoin lose the daily 9, reclaim it, and then from that point, spring off of it and basically use it as major support the whole way up. And then same here, reclaim the daily 9, use it as support before springing up. And so reclaiming the daily 9 over the weekend was interesting for me, but we couldn't get back above resistance. This was the spot. So then I was using trend as kind of my indicator. As long as we're under 106, this still has the chance of rolling over, giving us that fake weekend move where the daily 9 did get reclaimed, yes, but on a Saturday. So it made it a little more tricky because if this did end up rolling over, betting on a daily EMA 9 reclaim on a weekend often on Bitcoin is like a trap scenario. But what we had on Sunday was a perfect, basically reconnect on the 21 here on that dump, still held support and then broke 106. In my opinion, this broke lower time frame downtrend. You can see here, we were hoping that this wick high was going to hold as some major lower high. Bitcoin rallied up, broke it, consolidated on the 12-hour 9 before breaking out. Volatility on the lower time frames, if we start looking now at like a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour, we're all telling us that, a move was brewing. It was just more a matter of, is it going to be on CME? Is it going to be on Saturday? A move was brewing, and that was just indicated on extreme low volatility. This is why I was paying attention to the charts very carefully over the weekend, because what we were seeing was a contraction of BBWP with a daily EMA 9 reclaim right under resistance. It seemed like a major move was brewing, and so far we have had a nice move up. A nice 4-hour breakout, as you can see. A lot of longs are scaling here. This is why I mentioned on the Discord right before stream, a throwback would not surprise me. This zone was holding Bitcoin down for all weekend. Coming down now would basically mean that we're going to retest the 4-hour EMA 9, retest this channel here, and then also solidify what was resistance. Because if you notice on the lower time frames, these wick highs, this was catching Bitcoin. This was either preventing us from breaking out rejecting us or the deviation leading to that EMA 100 retest. So a move down here wouldn't surprise me. What would surprise me then is if bulls can't hold the actual retest. We can go as low as 105,900, but I generally want to see 106.3 to 105.9 hold. We start going to the daily 9. This is important because you're starting to see this shift up. This very well in the next day or two could move all the way up to that 106K level, solidifying support right around that region. So it's gonna be important. We want to see bulls really hold this kind of momentum into close today. Pullbacks are perfectly fine, but as long as we're not breaking back under 106K, this is just going to be an opportunity for me. We've shifted structure. Price is now going in for the throwback. This is where majority start max shorting. When in my opinion, for now, the play is still looking at this as a throwback, potential higher low, and really waiting for the reaction on that 4-hour EMA 9. When volatility is this low on all time frames, it definitely is smart to pay attention. You're going to get a lot of chop like what we had here, breakouts, breakdowns, but still structure is still going to be holding. And that's why it was really key for me to really pay attention to the 12-hour wick highs. Because as soon as we had that trend shift right here, we punted one more short, closed it early. And then into last night, I actually posted an Academy long. Why I was feeling uncomfortable in doing that was just simply based on this closure. Still closed under resistance, but we held the daily 9. And then if we start looking at the median, you can see we actually lost the median. So we had actually an Academy long sitting like right around here. It was right here, actually. We had the close, Academy long right here, but I canceled it. Now I want to really position long potentially today. If on the lower time frames we can hold the throwback, as I've shown here, we just don't want essentially a rollover and this going back under 106. That'll really not look good simply based on the median here. It would be a median rejection, and then we'd have to really see where this shifts into tomorrow. Lots of chop though. I mean, just lots of chop. But daily EMA 9 still holding, and we're now on the third candle above it. So that's generally a great sign. So that's why today we want to just keep holding it. There's no reason why we should test this low at all today. Minimum pullbacks fine to 106, 105.9, but you should not see this low get taken out, just in my opinion. Because lower time frame volatility is very important to gauge, because right when you have an hourly firing off, that then can lead into a 2-hour. I always do that. A 2-hour, which then leads into a 3-hour. This all has implications for a daily volatility move, right? You see the 4-hour gave us a nice green dildo up. When the daily starts firing off, this is when the real fun begins. And what you're noticing is, HBDR, if you can get back above the median, this will mean that you have potentially the objective of testing the all-time high again. For me now, 109.3 should be next up, assuming we don't reject here or SFP even. And then breaking that will give us the objective back above basically 110,000, right around all-time high. So we're still not out of the woods yet, just based on it's Monday, New York Open. We still have to digest markets from over the weekend. But if that's why today we can actually hold specifically above 106K, that'll be a really good sign for me that, yeah, this move actually, we may be just in the process of a breakout. So that's Bitcoin. Lower time frames are looking great. We're gauging this as a pullback, but a throwback essentially. Now it could stop here at the 4-hour 38.2%. I personally want to see it come down a little bit more, reconnect with the 9, retest this zone. What you're noticing is we've broken out, and then anytime we throw it back, we just can't hold it. Break out, throw back, can't hold it. It's going to be very important for me to hold. And luckily for us, we have that 4-hour EMA 9 lined up right around that zone. What I like also is the median is kind of representing the extremity low. So if we start losing this, we start coming down, maybe we start breaking 106K. I want to see a quick move down, maybe to 105.9s right here, and then quickly get bought up. Visually, this will be like a wick, and it'll, again, just look like a throwback. Bitcoin should start moving to 109.3s from here. I don't see why we would not. We have volatility in favor of bulls currently. Lower time frames are showing a breakout. Meme lines are showing a breakout. Held the 4-hour EMA 100 beautifully. Now back above the daily EMA 9. We know the daily EMA 9 was the big spot where price likes to expand from. This is just like prime to go up at very minimum to 109.3s. And that's why it's going to be important to really watch this low for the day. Because if you just start like reverting all the way back down, this is a nasty wick. You really have to put into question if this daily BBWP is going to fire off in favor of bears. But until all that happens, I wouldn't. I was going on Friday, I was very bearish. Into the weekend, I was bearish. Sunday, I flip flopped out. And it just made sense to me. I just wasn't liking the fact that we were consolidating above, the major moving averages I was looking at. But then also specifically here, if you look at the 12-hour EMA 9, this is a long trigger as long as you're above the EMA 9. Once we had that trend shift here, breaking 106, we wanted a quick move down. We didn't get that. And even on this candle down, you still held above support. That's why I closed all shorts yesterday on crypto. It just seemed quite aggressive to short when the charts are kind of telling you that no, this is bullish consolidation. Yes, the meme lines we were still under, but generally when you're just kind of grinding up against resistance like this, holding above support, and you even see the shift here, the 34 on the 8-hour was holding as resistance, and then we just broke above it and then consolidated above it. That's actually quite bullish. And when you get these like moves down aggressively but spring up from support, generally this is a trap for bears, making them aggressively scale in before a big green dildo breakout. That's why it's just important to flip flop quickly, because you don't want to hold shorts here and then flip flop up here. Rather, let's just close shorts right around this region. See how today goes. And so far, it's looking good. I mean, New York, we're now more than 30 minutes into it. Markets Bitcoin at least is still looking strong to me. This is a good indication for risks. So I'm going to be using this 106 level as kind of the line in the sand. I did post an Academy long, so there's a long trigger here. This is, in my opinion, if this fills, we have an easy objective, which is 109.3, and we have an easy invalidation, which is today's low. So there's no reason to overcomplicate it. When volatility is hot like this, we should get quick pullbacks that just lead to springs. So that's Bitcoin. That's all I have. Tether dominance is looking nice because we lost the 4-hour EMA 100. You actually lost the 4.69%. So yeah, you've rallied up. It makes sense. This zone, this candle can go a little higher, maybe testing that 4-hour 9. But this is kind of it. I'm kind of expecting this to make a move down to 4.65% minimum, if not actually break down from here. If I zoom out and actually show this, we are on a 4-hour, so it is a lower time frame. This zone here is kind of important. We're kind of just on the precipice of a breakdown. Volatility is very primed breaking out confirmed on this next 4-hour candle, and as it stands, the move should be down. I'm curious to see how the HPDR looks as well. Yeah, look at that. The HPDR is even in a breakdown. 4-hour actually retested this zone, similar to exactly the Bitcoin, which is what you'd expect. Broke out, retesting the breakout zone. Aggressive bulls are essentially using, on the very low time frames, this wick high as support. I kind of want to see expansion. For me, I like the extremity trades, high RR, and that's why I do think today, if we get a move down, we should be looking for more longs than shorts. We know exactly where to short, and it's an easy SFP play. But until then, you just don't want to be the aggressive bear shorting, hoping for an SFP when that doesn't happen. All while Tether dominance is looking like this, on the verge of a breakdown. Hopium now is we actually come down to here, test, consolidate, and then move up. But with volatility on the 4-hour looking this primed, you do have to be cautious of an actual move today. Once this starts breaking out, this could easily cause Tether dominance to start moving down. Just moving down. Now we can go to the higher time frames, and it all starts really coming to picture here. Daily SMA 200 is at risk of being lost today. You lose it on Tether dominance. Generally, that sparks big moves down. Last reaction here was when we dumped through it, and then you just slow move down the whole way. And then again, we usually break out when you can reclaim it and then hold it. So this is a big spot. You're either going to see this hold, form a bottom, or this will be just on the verge of a breakdown. With what we know on the 4-hour too, it's definitely wise to be paying attention, because this daily SMA 200 is a massive zone. And luckily for us, it's coming in right around the meme line, actually, which again is just good confluence, good add confluence. You can then sprinkle a median here as well. So now you know that this zone here, right around 4.69% to like 4.65%, is extremely crucial for Tether dominant bulls to hold. If you don't hold this on a daily, you get any daily closure under the SMA 200, this is going to be at a risk of just moving down swiftly to 4.5%, if not lower. I mean, my chart says we'd go all the way to 4%. That'd be a pretty epic drop. Talking about a 15% drop per the HBDR, a 3.58% drop minimum. So let's see how the 2-day looks. Nasty. So 2-day is actually closing today as well. Bulls are watching to see if the 2-day EMA 9 holds. If that holds with this price, basically price divergence here, some hopium, right? Then maybe some consolidation before moving up. But if this 2-day EMA 9 actually gets lost, again, just great sign that, yeah, Tether dominance is looking really weak in this range. It's at the extremity low, and it's more than not looking like it's going to break down. So it's going to be, again, important today to watch this closing at 9 hours. So you want to watch this 2-day EMA 9. We're already under the 38.2%. You're noticing the median on the 2 days at 4.5%. So you're seeing that number come up twice now, 4.5%. Implications, at least for me, that, yeah, this could really be at risk of majorly breaking down, minimally going to 4.5%. With what we know already on volatility, though, if it comes down to 4.5%, you have to really wonder if it's going to hold, specifically with this last higher low getting taken out. It could mean that, yeah, you bounce off 4.5%, rally up to 4.69%, and reject, form a lower high there if you start shifting daily, 2-day downtrend. So markets are cooking up. I mean, I was going into Friday bearish. The weekend overall held the levels. Monday, we're getting expansion. Let's see if bulls really can hold this energy into the close today. But so far, I mean, with what we're seeing, they definitely have control. But I will say again, we are at somewhat support here on Tether dominance. 4-hour volatility it's on the verge of breaking out, but it's unconfirmed yet. So I will just say that this is kind of the spot you need to start seeing bulls pick up, because if not, you already lost 4.69% on the lower time frames. So now as a bull, you're just looking for this to start moving up, deviate, and then consolidate specifically above the EMA 100. Until then, though, you're just at a major risk of this rejecting and then breaking down. But it is at support, so I will say that. And that's just evident on the SMA 200. I'll always say that on any chart. You are at support when you're at the SMA 200. And until you actually lose it, it's just all fairy dust and hopium of losing it until you actually get closures under it. Then it becomes really fun for bears. But I will still say that we are at support. This is a big spot. Yes, 4-hour EMA, 4-hour BBWP looks like it wants to expand, but it's still unconfirmed. So just want to at least understand that. And that's why I said if we end up coming, and testing that 4-hour 9, this most likely just fills our academy long, and then you'd want this to aggressively dump you. So it doesn't really linger up here like this. It's just more like, okay, we hit this, retest, boom. You have a lot of resistance here. Median 34, 21, 9, all right around this zone. And you have an easy invalidation if this starts actually breaking above this wick high, reclaiming meme line at 4.78%, meaning it comes all the way here. Instead of rejecting, it just breaks out. Okay, this will be a great sign. Maybe this SMA 200 is getting front run on the daily, and maybe the support actually held. But until then, it's not wise to front run things. Rather, just kind of play the levels, and the 4 hours at resistance now. We'll have to see if this rejects. It's closing in an hour and 50 minutes, while volatility on the 4 hours literally about to break out, confirmed on this next 4-hour close. What we've seen is this breakout, and then the 4-hour doesn't close, and then it starts going down right after close, and then it doesn't confirm. That's why waiting for confirmation will be key. So that's Tether dominance on the verge, actually, on the verge of a major breakdown. So bulls better pick it up here, or they're going to be in potentially a lot of pain. I mean, only difference in this zone was, well, hold on. Now I lost my place. This zone here. You had extreme volatility, you started to expand. So yeah, the only difference on that was just the extreme volatility aspect. You had extreme lows here. Once you lost the SMA 200, though, I mean, that is just what sparked this daily volatility. We'll take it from here. I mean, minimally, you went down 17%. I didn't even take it from the SMA 200. Pretty insane, though. And the point being is that when you get a daily BBWP setup and you're at the SMA 200, you're more, it kind of looks like this. So you want to just be very understanding of where we're at. It's either going to hold bottom here and move up, or yeah, this is just going to like bigly break down. And you'll know this when it starts losing the daily SMA 200. So yeah, that's it. That's Tether dominance. Quite interesting level we're at today. And we broke out, retested. Yeah, I mean, there's still, I'll give some bulls Bitcoin bears opium. I mean, this is still in an uptrend. So that's why this low is going to be really key to take out. And I was showing it on the 2-day. This is the daily. It's the same level. What am I trying to show? Yeah, this isn't an uptrend though. So like this is a logical spot to higher low, which is interesting to see that because if this does higher low, then that would mean Bitcoin locally tops here. And ooh, I don't really see on my chart, at least. Maybe Farn will see something else, but I just don't have any.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he
will as well. Yeah. No, but I just see like a fresh uptrend on Bitcoin. But I will say that though, like I don't want to be a perma bull here because I definitely like shorting and I like bears. This is still an uptrend, so that's why before we front run ideas, it's going to be really crucial to lose the SMA 200. This is right at the meme line, and then also that'll have implications of testing this low and then actually switching this into a downtrend. Once those three things happen, which is SMA 200 loss, meme line loss, higher low gone, great. We can be aggressive and this can start down. But this is at risk of a here. It could go up to here. And what you're noticing is the EMA 100 on the daily. It did SFP. So if you did, let's say, if bulls, let's say, pushed up here, this would be the objective is 4.87%. And then reclaiming the daily EMA 100 on any chart for me is a big level. So then if that does occur, okay, we'll have to really question if this is going to be a major low. But remember, and I'll say this again, nothing's telling me that this is going to bounce. It's just more trend. We can't disregard trend. We can't disregard the SMA 200 mixed in with basically the meme line that held perfectly on June 3rd's dump. Now the 4 hour looks heavy. Volatility is expanding, so this has all the right things for a breakdown. So that's why if it doesn't break down, it's going to be a big sign for me that maybe bulls are going to try to pick this up. But until then, we have an academy long on Bitcoin. I'm gauging this to either test the 4 hour 9 or simply reject the 4 hour EMA 100. That would be the most bearish, and at minimum, make your move down to 4.65%. There we can see if that bounces or if that actually starts breaking down, supported with lower time frame BBWP. Bitcoin dominance now is in breakout mode. Let's go to I like higher time frames on this one. So we held perfectly the weekly 9. This did trend shift. And so remember, when we talked about this trend shift, the only objective now for bulls is to take out this high. You know, this took out all the higher lows. It swept even this last low. So we're at risk of a lower high here rolling over. But the 21 held beautifully on the weekly, got us back above the weekly 9. And then you can see just the strength of the weekly 9 held. Now this has the recipe for expansion, potentially. The objective now is to get the higher high break. Excuse me. And that's it. You just need the higher high break. We can then start dissecting this on a lower time frame, like a 2-day, and see, okay, well, this is in an uptrend now on the 2-day. I mean, you're in consistent higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We were talking about this high getting taken out, so we're doing that. So then if we go to the daily now, what you'd want to see as a Bitcoin dominance bull would just simply be this wick high getting tested. Most likely means the daily 9 reconnects with it. That's what you're noticing with price. Reconnects with this wick high, holds, perfect move to 65.4%. If you're a bear, right, you're kind of sweating, cheeks are clenching, not really happy. But if you are a bear, you're essentially betting on this high not getting taken out, and essentially this zone getting this right here rejecting, this wick high rejecting, and still forming that lower high. Because remember, I'll say this again, it's still the objective to break the high. I mean, that's really when we can start saying this is shifted. On the weeklies, you break this, you come down higher low, and then you're just steadily back in an uptrend on that higher high break. This very well could still roll over, but it's looking very strong. It's above all major moving averages I look at. And I bet you the monthly looks good. So let's see. Oh, yeah. Monthly perfectly back tested the EMA 100. Again, when this reclaimed it, what was it, like 3 months ago here? We were talking about this was a major shift in Bitcoin dominant structure for me. Any chart reclaiming the EMA 100 is major, but specifically it being a monthly is always big. Now, we did say the flip side is we don't have a lot of data, so we really need to see the reactions here. But this is the first time ever this chart's reclaimed the zone. So this has to mean that this is either going to be the most strongest time in Bitcoin dominance history, or yeah, this is just going to like deviate and go down. So far, Bitcoin dominance is positioned to be the strongest it's ever been in the history of the chart. That's very significant for me. I think there was something else as well. Let me go to the monthly. Was it the monthly? No, it was maybe the 2-week. Oh yeah, in the 2 weeks above the SMA 200. Again, just playing into my position, which is Bitcoin dominance is the strongest it's ever been in the history of this chart. You can just see the straight reaction on we busted up, reclaimed a 2-week SMA 200, got above it for the first time ever. It wasn't even a reclaim, just got back above it. Not got back above it, but just got above it, and then simply moved up. This is strong, and this chart is very strong. For me now, I mean, bulls have everything in their box to push this up. You have low volatility on the weekly, holding the weekly 9. Only thing now is just this high. So we break this high, this will be doing some major busting action up. And for the culture, my next objective is 69.55%. A big zone, 69.55% is big for Bitcoin dominance. We're currently right around this zone. We can easily make moves up to that, though. Very easily within this range. It's not until you either lose 63.8% or break 69.55% where you get a big move. But with what I just said on the higher time frames, it being the strongest ever, it's not dumb to assume that this high is going to break and that this zone at 69% will get tested eventually. Now, if this does start rolling over, for me, you'll know that this is going to break down very simply if we start taking out. I'm going to use this wick low. I don't think you have to do that anymore. You can simply use this wick low here. You start taking out this wick low. You're now under the weekly 9. You're under the meme line that I use. And then you're taking out this last major low, diminishing any kind of hopium for some trend shift on the weekly. But until then, this is I mean, busting up, volatility still contracting. Once this weekly volatility starts firing off, this can really start getting interesting. Yeah, 5 days even reset. Let me check 2 week. Okay, so it is resetting. Resetting in the manner of it is under the moving average since it got reclaimed in January. So that is interesting to see that. But very strong chart. I mean, I always say if you want to just like an easy uptrend chart, it's like Bitcoin dominance is it. This is pretty easy. And yeah, it's like you just kind of like bid the higher low and use the last low as your stop and wait and you make money. It's kind of insane. It won't always be like this, but so far this chart's looking very strong. So objective now for bulls is breaking that high. Bitcoin to me is very strong. I'll just summarize this with we wanted the weekly 9 to get tested. This move up actually made a reconnect happen. So there's really nothing now telling me, like when I look at the chart like this, I'm like, yeah, I mean, we wanted the weekly 9 to get tested. That was at 99.8. We ever so front ran that perfectly fine. This is now reconnected with the weekly 9. So what we wanted as a throwback, it already happened. The hopium now is will the daily EMA 100, daily SMA 200 contest, or this just keeps moving up. And then this EMA 100 keeps grinding up and it eventually reconnects with price. For me, it's hard to be looking at a daily EMA 100 level when the weekly EMA 9 is telling us now that this was it. This was a big tap. This should hold as the low, and we should at very minimum go back up to the 109.3s. This was a big zone though. When we broke out here, we wanted the weekly EMA 9 to get tested. It did. So, you know, we played that well. We did reconnect with it over the weekend. So, you know, there's the flip side now. And if bulls want, they really can start breaking this out. I will say this on the monthly, every single month we've tested the median on the monthly. And well, I mean, this month we did, this month. This was the only month we did not. So there's the silver lining of that. And then in May, we actually did. The median's actually at $151,000. So
Blow up top. Awesome Q2. Let's go.
You know, I know I was short on Friday and it's okay to flip flop, but like volatility on the monthly too could like this could have like this is a possibility. I don't know how much of a possibility it is. But every month that this median's up here is a possibility. And bears could have said, well, the 38.2% will reject. It's not. We're now a few $1,000s above it. With volatility on the monthly expanding, it's kind of like, damn, I don't know. Weekly EMA 9 reconnect. It's like this is all real possibility, and this is why we want to.
And that monthly volatility set up as a 100% hit rate in terms of correction.
So it is firing off. You did hold the monthly 9. It is bullish,
and it is pointed up.
When we were going into this month, what was concerning me was the 38.2% breakdown that we opened in, but that very well could just be a trap. I mean, trend is still up, monthly 9's holding. And again, we've hit the monthly median every single month, granted, except for this month in April. Got close to it, though. I will say that. We got close to it. So, I mean, that is what let's see how much of a percentage that is from, we'll just do it from here. 40%. Yeah. Now, remember, boys, this sounds crazy to me as well, but I mean, the charts are the charts, and there is a valid setup. Like if volatility was at extremes here, yeah, maybe not, but this is like very valid. And every time monthly volatility is at extreme lows, these are pivotal points in crypto. This was the last occurrence here in October is when we expanded. That was the bull market move up to 100K. And then this entire move, we've just been resetting. This entire move, resetting until now. We're now starting to break out, confirmed on this month. And then here we had another low volatility. This took us from 11,000 essentially all the way up to 69K. And then we reset, had our bear market, 48,000 all the way down to 15K. here we had low volatility as well. This was the bull market 2018. Nice. Or 17, 18, as I should say. Point being is that, yeah, I mean, we have a monthly volatility set up. We already did reconnect with the weekly 9. What was concerning me was wanting higher before the weekly 9 actually retested. If we go out and see, you know, before Bitcoin likes to break out, like we broke out, we didn't really test the weekly 9. It likes to test it before going bigly up. And for me now, this is validly retested it. So we wanted 99.8s. It kind of got front ran by like $1,000. It is what it is. It's like there's not many things like once you break 109.3, because I won't get blindsided here. We're still in a range, and like that's still valid to say. You're still in a range represented from these wick lows, these wick highs. So until you break it, it is still in a range. But I will say, like, there are legitimate things telling us a big move could be brewing here. Even the 15-day, once it reclaims the median, that would be the first median reclaim since we lost it in January. You have 15-day volatility also low, breaking above the moving average, while also for the first time ever, if you look here, I'll do this. I'll expand these out. For the first time ever, you're potentially flipping, and I'll make these straight because we like straight lines. You're right. You're flipping.
How can you say that during this month of all months, you heathen?
I'm sorry, sir. We like straightness at ETA. Lines. Straight lines. For the first time ever, on the 15-day, you had a reclaim of support. Beautiful. Everyone's happy. We then lost it. Terrible time. We then reclaimed it. We then held it. We're now expanding. This is bullish. This is like textbook bullish SR flip. This is exactly what you want. Wick highs being flipped into support, now expanding. This is why I'm saying, like, there really should be no reason why we're going to, like, at all come back under 106K at this point. I think this breakout's very valid. And if we start really deviating back under 106K, I'll be concerned because all these volatility setups are so close to firing off that, you know, I don't want it to be another scenario where we were very close to breaking out. Bitcoin looked like it wanted to go to 138,000, and then it did not. And for now, it looks all very valid and looks like it really does want to break out. But, you know, I just want to stick to the levels. And for me now, we have an Academy long. Let's look at the 4-hour one more time. And for me now, it's just looking like it's in a breakout. We retested that, threw it back. Maybe we don't get filled here. And yeah, this is it. If we start really taking out these lows out, if we start going under 106, I'm going to be very concerned on like closing bases, dailies. Until then, though, this has all of the momentum now to go up. This is why I closed all my stock shorts. If Bitcoin's going to go up, it's a good gauge on risk, and I don't really want to be max short risk on stocks if the biggest, riskiest asset's looking bullish. So we very well are in a range. I'll say that again to end this off. Very well could be like doing this. We're going to break out. We come down, do this and down. But, you know, it's like once you break 109.3s, this is going to massively break out, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's all I have. I'm actually quite interested to see what Farhan has in store for us.
Let's see when he shares his screen. Well, he opens his
this little
Manzano dip.
It is a lemon salt beverage, basically a swirl in a bottle thing.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you. Doing it right.
I've moved on to the swirls over the Coke Zeros.
Much better. Well done. Let's see.
All right, we'll start with the daily. We'll make the HPDR disappear. And I'll throw on our favorite. The moon phases. Of course we're going to be talking about those. Can't be a stream and not talking about the moon phases. These do like to get made fun of, but the hit rate is greater than anybody you know. So it's kind of joke is on you if you want to make fun of them. And you see, whenever we had this bear moon right over here, we got a pretty nice little dump off of it. Let's measure it from wick high to low. That is about 9%, almost double digits. Off of this bull moon from wick low to high, that was about 11%, very similar to the bear moon. On this bear moon, it wasn't that much of a move down. This one kind of led to the upside, but although at the very least, it did give you a move down and some sideways, and that gave you from high to low about 3% down. Not really that much. Recently, the bull moons have been performing a lot better than the bear moons. This bear bull moon from wick low to high was about 15%. Both of them have been double digits so far. This bear moon was about, say, from the high, take that one, to the low, about almost 16%. This one was pretty nice. Bull moon, 11%. So if we were to take it roughly 11%, or let's say 10% on the conservative side, and let's assume that it's going to happen right here because we're going to get this moon tomorrow. So wherever price action is tomorrow, doing it from there is going to be more accurate. But let's just, for funsies, do it from here for about 10%. This is the conservative number. Takes us to about $118,000. That's the conservative number. If you're to take it about 13 to 15%, brings us around $121,000 to $124,000. Very interesting. And if you remember from the last previous live streams, that $118,000 number has come up a couple of times already, and that would be the conservative number. Very cool. Now let's make the moon phases disappear. I'm interested. What is the most bullish day of the week? Today is Monday, I believe. Bullish rate. Monday is one of the higher bullish rates, probabilistic days of the week to close bullish. 52% chance of closing green on Monday, and the average rate is about 2.76%. So let's take it from the Monday's open, which was at about 105. How much are we up right now? 1.8. Take it about 2.7. Brings us to roughly about $108,000 to $109,000 statistically. Tuesday is also very similar, and add another 2% for Tuesday. So let's take it about from here 4.76. Should bring us somewhere around our current all-time highs, right below our current all-time highs at around $110,000. That's going to be taking out this previous major lower high and right around this previous major lower high. Now let's turn off the statistics. Very, very funny how he put his name right there in the indicator name. Let's turn the HPDR back on. And now the HPDR, you're getting strongly over the median. And it's very likely you're going to close over it. It's closing in about 9.5 hours. Closing over that with volatility expanding from less than 5%, very, very likely it's going to send you at a minimum to this 50%, probably somewhere around the 61.8%. And that takes you to about $111,000 to like $113,000. Basically, current all-time highs or new all-time highs. And volatility and momentum is still not in the bullish control zone yet. It's going to take maybe one or two more open candle opens or enclosures for this to make its way into the bullish control zone, and then it can stay there for a good amount of time too. When it did that before, it went up to the 78.6% and the 88.3%. And if you were to assume that would happen like one of these moves, that would take you up towards somewhere around $116,000 towards $119,000. And if you guys remember that $118,000 to $121,000 area puts us right around that zone. And it lines right up with the bull moon. And we have a buy signal now on the jewel within the bearish control zone. So if you were to line these up and see the type of moves we get off of them, come on. Alright, that should be good. Show this one more. There we go. This was about 3.8%, not much. This one was a lot more, or it looks like it at least. 10% in one candle. Wow.
That was brutal.
This was a major fuck you to all shorts candle and then
Mhm.
dumped. 9.45%. This is where CZ gets you out before you can act before he dumps the market. This was immediately about 8%, then 20%. God, good lord, 32%, 40% off of a daily signal, and we are currently up 3.5%. Huh? Let's take it about 10 to 13. 13 like last time will bring us right around $118,000. Very, very, very interesting. That number once again. You heard it here first, fellas. $118,000 end of today. Not actually end of today, but probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. I feel like that needs to be said. Somebody's gonna take me seriously.
I was gonna say you can never explain it too much. You know what I mean? Much needed.
Yeah, somebody's definitely gonna take it seriously, and then they're gonna come back at us trying to own us and say, "Ha ha! You said by end of today, you stupid moon boy."
Well, Nvidia is having a fucking breakout with a volatility setup too.
Thank God we
2
canceled.
days.
Yeah,
The shorts
yeah.
No, I canceled that,
got out at the
I'm on
perfect time.
and we sold Tesla at a good time too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Bitcoins on the 2 days are right on the verge of a breakout, a break E, where if it closes over this 38.2%, not only will be making its way back into the 38.2%, it would be taking out that previous major lower high, and that would take you at a minimum to this, excuse me, this median, which is right around $110,000, $1,100, $311, basically at our previous all-time highs, and this other, like the only last major lower high that we have, and then the 38.2%, where momentum is now making its way back up, and volatility is now kind of resets below 50%. Kind of, it does have enough steam to make its way to the 38.2%. That's at $116,000, pretty close to our $118,000 area. And if you look last time the 2-day made its way out of the bearish control zone, it was right over here. And how much of a move up did we make from there? Off of this candle. So from this candle, we did 18%, 40%. Very cool, very interesting. Let's just for funsies take 40% from here. Zoom out a little bit. Brings us to about $148,000. It's very close to that $150,000 number from Alex. You remember that? Makes you think. 3 days also in that same posturing, right around that 38.2%. Takes you up to at the very minimum to the median, which is your current all-time highs, and then right around $119,000, which goes along with that 118. Slip that mic for a second. 5-day. Now I'm going to go back to the index because it has more data than Bluefin. 5 days, very close to that breakout area right now at that of the 38.2%. It's sitting at current all-time highs. Pretty funny to see that at all-time highs. Telling you that $113,000 is likely going to be resistance, at least for this first tap round. And if you can get over this $113,000 area, momentum on the 5-day is going to confirm expansion back to the upside, putting in I believe, yep, it's going to put in hidden bullish divergence, and that probably will be confirmed as long as you close over 106,843. Anyways, that probably takes you up to above this 38.2% towards about $120,000. Very cool. And you're now getting the not quite getting it just yet, but the lines are touching tips. The pink is very close to crossing above the yellow. Probably on this next open, they are going to cross. And if you look at the last time that they crossed, it was right up here in this zone. Mark that with a vertical line. See what happened with price.
It's the small pump of 80 million%.
Yeah, just a tranquilo 56% to the upside.
God fucking damn it.
And now let's just take a small pump of 56% to the upside. Or let's just do 50% to be conservative. It's about $157,000, $158,000. Not bad. Weekly. Weekly is currently flipped down on momentum. Volatility is very close to being reset. And now it's looking like momentum is going to flip back up right at the reset zone because we are putting in a nice bottoming candle, holding up to the 5 EMA every single time. And once we get a closure over this wick high of 106,843, you're going to get that hidden bullish divergence, taking you up to about 120K. And weekly is also very close to giving you that jewel signal. 2 week is still flipped to the upside, while volatility comes to extreme lows now at 15%. 2 week is giving you hidden bullish divergence on the jewel, flipping back into the bullish control zone, getting over the median for the first time in a long time. It's been below the median since January of 2025, and that gives you a straight move up to the 38.2%, which right now sits at about $130,000. And the 50%, which we topped out last time, is at about $145,000, right below that 150 area. Monthly is now also making its way back into the 38.2%. Right now, momentum is flipping to the downside. Hasn't quite confirmed yet because we haven't gotten a closure. But if we do get over about $112,000, this is going to flip back up with volatility support. That's going to take us towards that 150,000 on the median. And we've now lost the sell signal on the monthly jewel. Let's switch into Tether. Switch gears. Tether is giving us a nice rejection of that 38.2%, rejecting all of our major moving averages. We are approaching this meme line right now. So once you get a break below this meme line, this is likely where you're going to get your capitulation candle and Tether. And Bitcoin is probably going to get a nice little several $1,000 green dildo. And that probably takes you towards somewhere around this 200 SMA, which is going to be which is very close to this meme line right now, about 3.9%. Momentum is now making its way into the bearish control zone on Tether, where volatility is pointing up. And you're getting a nice little sell signal on the jewel. Weekly is now about to lose a 38.2%, and that's going to be a nice little breakdown if that happens. It'll be very nice if we can lose this meme line as well. That would be a clear sign that you're going to capitulate down to this meme line at the very least at around 40%. Right now, momentum is going to slightly point it up, but if you close below 38.2%, this is going to flip right back down. And that's going to put in some nice hidden bearish divergence too. 5 days already starting to do that with momentum just about to flip back down. We have a nice, perfect retest of this silver cross to the downside, and we're getting expansion to the downside. Lose this meme line, and it's going to be out, lights out ski. It's like that classic quote, lose this line and lights out. 2 days already starting to flip down with volatility approaching extreme lows, not quite there just yet. And we got a nice little rejection of that 38.2%, making it very likely you're going to come down to the median at least, which is going to take you a lot below this meme line, making it a lot more likely you're going to close below this meme line. and probably going to come to this mean line, which is heavily below this 38.2%, even below the 61.8%. Probably going to even break below this mean line because your next support level is 78.6, right around that 3.88% area. And if you remember that 200 SMA was right around 3.9%, very close to that 78.6%. Daily is also flipping to the downside with volatility sitting at right around 3%, and we have a nice sell signal on the jewel right now. If we start to lose this, and I love to say the median is lined up perfectly with my mean line right now, if we start to lose this area, we're going to get volatility expansion with momentum to the downside, and that's going to be a recipe for a nice nuclear disaster. Probably going to take these lows out at 4.3%. 4 hours trying to flip back up right now. It's getting right to the edge of the bearish control zone. It's not looking like it's going to be very fruitful because this is turning into quite the ugly candle. This is a fuck late short candle right here, where it just give you a scam pump of about almost 1%, and then it just rejected the entire thing. And if it does close below this candle's low of close, this candle's close about 4.68%. This is likely going to continue the dump steep to 4.65. It depends on how it closes. If it closes above this candle's close, then you might get another bounce into this 100. I'll switch to the RSI. Tether still has 3 drives of bearish divergence, going to be active as long as you're closing below about 5.85%. And you're very close to putting in a nice bearish engulfing on the quarterly. And you got a nice little head and shoulders right there. Monthly hours already confirmed a hidden bearish divergence on this last close. Going to be active as long as you're closing below 6.24%. Your easy target, considering you've lost all of your major EMAs, and you have the hidden bearish divergence, is your 100, right around that 3.5% area. See if it lines up with any of our RSI targets. 3.17% is the bearish control zone, right below the simple moving averages. And simple moving average is 3.76. That 3.5 is right in the middle between those two numbers. Weekly has confirmed bearish divergence on Tether. Going to be active as long as you're closing below 4.98%. Your next target is that critical zone, which is going to update, but right now it's sitting at 2.51. 5 days hidden bullish divergence, although it's very close to being invalidated. It will be invalidated with a close below 4.62%. And that will take you towards the critical zone, which is currently at about 3.08, very close to that 3.17. 2 days about to put in fresh drive of hidden bearish divergence, and it will confirm with any close below about 4.74%. That's going to take you towards this bearish control zone, which right now sits at about 4.13. And you're getting volatility expansion for 2 periods of 0%. With that hidden bearish divergence, that's a recipe for a nukezilla. And now 4 hours put in a fresh drive of hidden bearish divergence with volatility expansion from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 periods of 0%. 0%. We're now sitting at 22% on volatility. And our RSI target would be the critical zone, which is right now sitting at about 4.59%, not really that much lower. Let's see what the critical zone is on number-wise. Let's change it to about 30. Let's see where it goes to on the downside. This is 22, 16, so let's take it to 30 and see what the price number it gives us. I changed the wrong one. I'm really retarded. Let's change it to 15. 4.48, still not that much lower. Changed the settings as much as I wanted, but I didn't get it to fit my bias. Let's switch it to Bitcoin now. I was thinking I could switch it to get 3.5%, but I guess it's not going to be that fast of a move. Bitcoin still got 2 drives of hidden bullish divergence and came very close to invalidating it, although that was a big scam to the bears who tried to front run the divergence and being invalidated. And it just continued to hold by bouncing strongly at that point. And now, once it takes out this previous wick high on a closing basis, it's going to be virtually impossible for the bears to invalidate this divergence before the move continues to play out. And the bearish divergence is going to be at that point also a lot more difficult for the bears to validate. Monthly has already invalidated the bearish divergence, and you're getting a nice little pump ski off of that invalidation. And you're getting a volatility setup. We're going to get to that on the momentum chart. 2-week has confirmed that hidden bullish divergence on the RSI as well as the jewel. Your target would be the bullish control zone. Right now, that sits at about $125,000. I noticed this before, so I'm going to bring it up now. And don't really look at the 6-day much, but we are getting a closure in about 2 days and 10 hours, and we are about to put in a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence. And it's going to be confirmed as long as you close above about 106,843, which we are almost $1,000 above now. If that does confirm, it takes us to the critical zone, which right now sits at about $135,000. That's a pretty nice target. This is going to update, but probably not by that much. Maybe down to 130, maybe 128. Nothing. Nope. 4 hour now has a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence off of this last close. And our next target is going to be the critical zone, which right now sits at about 100 right around $108,000. Have we hit that already? Yeah, we've already hit it. Now I'll switch to the momentum chart. This move is likely not over yet, though, considering how volatility is looking. Likely this does continue higher towards somewhere around, at the very least, 110 before some consolidation, if it's going to consolidate at all. Index. Quarterly has always remained to the upside since about late 2023 on momentum, and you're getting volatility expansion from the lowest level ever. And now you've taken out the possibility of making a lower high, and you're going to be pointed up above $95,200. Monthly is now freshly flipped to the upside, putting in hidden bullish divergence, and you're getting a volatility setup which is now confirmed above that 15% area, and you're pointed up above 103,750. And the monthly has a 100% hit rate with the volatility expansion going in the direction of momentum. If you look at it right here, whenever volatility expanded, momentum was pointed up, price went massively to the upside. We look right here, momentum was pointed down, price went massively to the downside. Look right here, momentum is pointed up, price went massively to the upside. And we don't have any other setups like that of momentum setups before. But all we need is 3 to make a trend. And if we assume price is going to go massively to the upside, takes us towards, it's not crazy to think we could get a 40% move towards that $151,000 median. Not very crazy. Because this time around, how much of a move do we get? Off of this, that was 192%. So we're not even asking for 192%. Just 40, 45. 2 week is now also flipping to the upside with that volatility setup. Hasn't quite confirmed the expansion just yet. It needs to get above this 15%. And then we have to look at momentum. Momentum is pointed up above $92,600, which we are about like $15,000 above that area right now. And if you let's see how much of a percentage move we got last time on the volatility setup, about 72%. Let's take another one. This one was first about 70%. Wow, 70% keeps coming up. Let's get another example. I don't want to run it 70%. It's going to give us a very ridiculous number. 40%. That's 45%. That's perfect. A lot more realistic. And then watch it run 70%. Brings us to about 100 and let's do 151 to 100 and $58,000. It's right around that monthly median. And then maybe it does do the 70%, but probably not. Weekly is also flipped to the upside with the volatility expansion. And you're pointed up above $106,600. And you're getting into the critical zone now too. Last time you made it into the critical zone, you still continued a lot more. This time around as well, you still continued a lot more after you made it into the critical zone. 5 days currently flipped to the downside. You do have volatility contraction, which is hopium. And on this next open, when it's going to be in about 9 hours, this number is likely going to go down because you're going to be approaching the right around the exit of the critical zone. It's going to be much easier at that point to flip back up. Might even go below what price action is at. 2 days now, just about to freshly flip back to the upside, about to reject the bearish control zone, and it will flip up if you close above $107,800, which we are about $160 below right now. And we have a brewing volatility set up on the 2 day. Where last time we had that volatility set up was right about here. And we went up about 46%. Very interesting. That takes us right around our $150,000 area. Daily's already flipped to the upside, and daily also has a volatility set up, and it's pointed up above 102,350. And 4 hours now giving us a nice volatility setup with 2 periods of 0% volatility expansion from 2 periods of 0%. And we're getting momentum about to freshly flip to the upside in about an hour. If you can close above about 108,980 or 107,980 or about $108,000. And if that happens, you're very likely going to continue to see this busting action until somewhere around maybe $112,000, and maybe you get a little consolidation there, maybe 113, and then you're probably going to see continuous busting action. Right now, all of the higher time frames, starting from the quarterly, are still positioned strongly to the upside. The monthly has validated the bearish divergence, put in a drive of hidden bullish divergence. The 2 week, the monthly has a volatility setup now confirmed, where the monthly having 100% hit rate on the direction, and it is currently pointed to the upside. So it is likely we're going to get some busting action on the monthly setup to the upside. 2 week is also about to give us a volatility setup, and that's also positioned to the upside. You're getting basically every single time frame except for the 5 day that's pointed to the upside. But the 5 day pivot is likely going to change on this daily close today. And all of the lower time frames are currently positioned to the upside, giving a volatility setup that's likely to play out to the upside. The 4 hours currently flipped down, but it is probably going to flip back up based on where it's at right now, right at the edge of the bearish control zone, and volatility already playing out to the upside. And if that does flip up over 107,960, that's likely going to take us pretty fast up towards our current all-time highs.
Very good. Very good. So we'll jump into ES1, S&P. I think it actually pertains quite well to risk and Bitcoin, because understanding the direction of ES1 can kind of at least help set the tone for the day. So we still have 6 hours to go on this daily. What you're noticing is we're still just kind of in like an indecision mode, but this has potential here, and that's why lower timeframes on ES1 today will be your friend, in my opinion. What you have now is a really nice expansion off the daily 9, but you're still getting caught at resistance right around the 6,011 level. It's a mouthful. We were going into this month kind of short bias on ES1, but as time goes on, we obviously can change our bias. And well, what do we have now? Well, we have a perfect monthly EMA9 reclaim. Yes, monthly is in a downtrend, so it's very similar to what we said about almost like Bitcoin dominance, which is when you're now in a downtrend, the only way to break it back up is to break the high. So the objective now is to break these highs on ES1, but we're catching resistance right at that $6,000 level to $6,011 level. So it's going to be crucial to see where this closes today. But as long as we're above the monthly 9, this is actually quite bullish. And what you had, it's similar to like what you had in October, which was a monthly 9 loss, bounce off the 21, reclaim to expansion. This this reclaimed the monthly 9 and then started to move up. Similar to here, we just want the monthly 9 to keep holding. It's very simple. And you even have a volatility set up now on the monthly. You haven't really had this low volatility since September 2015. What did markets do then? Let's see here. So yeah, this was right before it broke out from. Actually, yeah, this was right before on the monthly we went down, tested the 34. That 34 ended up holding. We reclaimed the monthly 9. And then from that monthly 9 reclaim, we had volatility expansion, which then led us from 2,000 all the way up to 3,000 almost, 2,900. That's quite impressive, almost a 2x. Yeah, in about 4 years, that's impressive. Why am I bringing that up? Well, what do we have now? Well, we had a move down to the 34, reset volatility, similar to what we had then. And then now what we see is a monthly 9 reclaim. Once you reclaim the monthly 9 in that zone in 2015, you actually retested it a few times, but overall held and then broke the high. And then once you broke that high, you essentially started breaking out on ES1. This is significant because it can tell me that as long as we are above the monthly 9, this is bullish. Yes, monthly is in a downtrend, so we absolutely want to be understanding of that and know that the objective now is all-time high. There's no other objective for bulls other than all-time high, right around $6,162. It's going to be really crucial here to break these highs. In doing so, we can then throw in the HBDR. We can have a move up to that median that's at $6,438. What you're noticing too is the 38.2% on the monthly is sitting right around, let me hide that, right around the highs here. So that's great confluence, which is once you start breaking these highs, you're going to have a lot of shorts here, probably betting on the downtrend that are going to have to cover, leading to a nice squeeze up potentially to that median, which again would make sense if volatility is this low. We have potential to go all the way up to 6,600 on ES1, obviously in the few months to come, but there is potential for that with volatility this low if we don't end up rejecting that median on the monthly. So I mean like a 7% up to that median. All-time highs is only at less than 3% away, so that's nothing for ES1. And then the more extremity high at 6,668, we'll call it 6,669 for the culture, is at 11%. So that would be a pretty that'd be a big move. Let's go back to 2015 because we're using that as our comparison. And let's just see how much ES1 went up once we got that volatility expansion. And remember, monthly volatility right now isn't expanding, but it's just at extreme lows now. It's similar to exactly what we had in 2015, which was once you had that move down to the monthly 34, that move down is what reset volatility, similar to what just occurred now. And then you see here, once monthly 9 got reclaimed, you had volatility expansion. So we'll take it from there. We'll take it from that 2,000 900, and that went up 42%. That's insane. So like even if ES1 went up 30%, we'll say we'll take it from this breakout here, because that would be valid, because volatility isn't expanding. We'll just take 30% minimum. I mean, yeah, talking about 8,000 ES1, that's pretty insane. 20%, 7,400. And then let's say that we reject these all-time highs. We don't take them out, and this ends up being a lower high on the monthly. 30% down would take you very closely to that monthly EMA 100, right around 4,100. This is literally the market you're in right now, which is you're literally brewing insane setups. And I know markets have seemed like they're insane, but the monthly is telling a different story, which is everything you saw from essentially October of 2023 up until now was just volatility contracting. The real volatility hasn't even started yet, which is quite interesting to see. We haven't had something similar since 2015, when we actually had a monthly volatility setup. Now, people will say, well, what about 2018? You didn't actually have a monthly volatility setup here. So it's more actually similar to these 2015, 2016 levels. So that's very interesting to see. But remember, we're still on a monthly downtrend until we take these highs out. It's the objective now. With Bitcoin going up, it's telling me risk on should get a good bid. Stocks should do well. There's no reason why now ES1 shouldn't take out that high. And it's going to now be dependent on the daily. If we start segueing into the daily, so that was the monthly, it's now really going to be dependent on 6,000, like 6,013 getting reclaimed. That's going to be very important. You can see this was just like a big spot. We broke down, rejected before bigly going down. So if we can't get back above 6,013, you're just going to be at at risk of rolling over here. Bears are going to be happy at a lower high on the monthly, and then we're going to go down. But if you today start seeing this daily start reclaiming 6,013 and then even consolidating like this, coming down, testing the 9, but not closing under 6,013, this is the recipe for a move up to that $6,167 mark. Testing the all-time highs, this will be where that breakout occurs because you have a lot of shorts betting on the downtrend. If this does occur, I'd then be expecting the move to 6,400 within the next month. So pretty, important level we're at on ES1. It's either like roll over here or around 6,100. You never take this high out. And this does lower high, leading to a very aggressive dump where we take these lows out, April lows, or you start really reclaiming 6,013, consolidating, giving you that breakout move to the all-time high. It's very, very similar now, or very simple, straightforward. The daily and the 2-day too are bullish. You're still above all major moving averages. Let me check the 55. And you do have a 2-day silver cross. So let me check the daily.
Also daily.
Yeah, so you have a daily silver cross. So more confluence. If you start reclaiming 6,013 and you start seeing this daily 9 move up, this could then be the consolidation until the daily 9 matches price to the spring. This is what you'd want to see. Now, very easily, like I said, could wick under 6,013, but then the objective would just simply be holding the daily 9. Because what you're noticing is we're in a very clean uptrend on the daily. So with clean uptrends, and this is why I like stocks, you have a invalidation, higher highs. So you should be gauging some kind of consolidation here. But now you at least can play this and have, at least a tight stop. If you play the daily 9, you bid this, you're now betting that's going to be the next higher low, and then the higher high break. So that's why I like stocks. I mean, very clean. This scenario would have played out well if you longed here, stopped here. You then would have, with ease, been able to print at minimum a 1.3% move. So that's not bad all in a day's work. So 6,013 remains the big spot for ES1. You just do not want to roll over here. I mean, that's just the big spot. You could go to like maybe 6,100, and that's why I'm just gonna Bears have a super easy invalidation here. It's just these highs. as long as we're under these highs, this has risk of rolling over and being a lower high on the monthly. It's very similar to Bitcoin dominance. You can just see visually. I mean, we took out the last higher low on the monthly, double topped here, broke down. Now, yeah, you're rallying up. I was bearish on ES1, and I still am cautiously, I'm still cautiously bearish on this. But with how Bitcoin's performing today, with Nvidia breaking out, with ES1 looking like it did already hit the monthly 34, giving us the almost same similar setup it had in 2015, which I'll say it one more time, dumped down to 34, reset volatility, 34 ended up bottoming us. Once we reclaimed the monthly 9, we never lost it, leading to a major breakout in the next 2 years, 3 years. EMA 34 got hit. We absolutely could hit it again. But as it stands now, you're already back above the monthly 9, as we saw in 2015. Once you got back above the monthly 9, and even here, generally, once you get back above the monthly 9, we should start seeing this move up. So ES1 is looking better. I'll be very, very, very bullish on this once it actually makes an all-time high. I know that seems very kind of simple and dumb, but that's just the kind of market we're in now, which is we just invalidated the uptrend. So the only way to make me bullish on this monthly is to break the last high, fulfilling bullish dreams of that being back in an uptrend. And then quarterly was looking insane, closing soon. We'll have to see where this closes. In all realness, bulls are just trying to close the quarterly above this wick high. I'll make it match more here. This wick high here. It's going to be pretty important. But with a candle like this, they do have the power to do it. Yeah. And then watch carefully. 6,013. This 2-month is closing in 21 days. You could get a 2-month close for the first time ever above that level. That'd be very important. Rejected, rejected, rejected. Be very important to see that. It just plays into the fact that ES1 could then be breaking out in the next few months. So, yeah, I mean, we were going into this bearish, rightfully so, monthly trend, but things on lower time frames and the fact that moving averages are holding, levels and meme lines are holding, are making me flip-flop. Bitcoin's looking quite bullish now. It's telling me risk on could actually catch a bid this week. And we actually could even get a Tesla trade here soon if we start deviating that SMA 200. We'll probably look at that later. ES1 though is at resistance. So until you actually start holding 6,013, you are at resistance, but the daily is still 6 hours to go. This could easily turn into a nice candle. So watch 6,013. If you start reclaiming that, you want to see this hold. You want to see the daily 9 kind of match where price is. This would then be a reconnect to the silver cross. And then, you know, if we don't hold the daily 9, let's gauge the 2-day, because the 2-day as well has a silver cross. We've tapped this less. And really, hopium for bulls is to see really this 2-day expand, this 2-day 9 move up more. And then you actually kind of get the reconnect around here. If we can go around 6,000, that'd be great. But we are bullish now. I mean, 2-day has a silver cross. 3-day has a silver cross as well. And no, that's kind of where it ends. So 2-day, 1-day, 3-day, silver cross, 5-day, weekly hasn't tested the weekly 9 yet since May. So we'll just understand that's a big zone. It's kind of like the extremity low, but the weekly 9 and 21 did cross. So it's kind of just showing the shift overall in just bulls control. Bulls are in control in this chart. So that's it. All-time high objective now. I mean, you can play the level of 6,013. You want to see that hold, but that's the objective now. 6,013 holds. Next objective will be 6,150. Implications for breaking this high. Once you do that, ES1 could easily go up to 6,400. So yeah, that's it.
Very nice, senor. Thank you so much for that. I already sent it to Farhan. We're doing Amazon next, and then I'll text to you. I'll text you in a second about like what's next for you.
Wonderful.
I'll do this. Thank you. Thank you for covering.
No worries. Been there.
Disculpe. Yeah. Well, been there, done that, right? Every fucking morning. Perfecto. Voy a empezar rápido con el SP500. Ahorita me regreso a Bitcoin en chinga. Perdón que me lo salté. Tuve que salir corriendo al baño, honestamente. ¿Para qué les digo mamadas, no? Ok. Justamente lo que habíamos dicho del SP500, no hay tanto que analizarle. Vamos en camino a nuevos altos históricos. Ahora, obviamente, como traders tenemos que verlo paso a paso, ir cada nivel a nivel, pero ya empezamos por el primer nivel que habíamos pasado y que habíamos puesto, que era la línea en los 6,000, en los 5,968. Estamos por encima de ella y ahora estamos rangueando acá arriba. Estamos a punto de ir a buscar estos máximos históricos y la única razón por la que les dejé esta línea acá es porque puede que vayamos a tener un retesteo si es que este no ya fue el retesteo. Lo pueden ver justamente acá. Estoy viéndolo en la diaria, tal cual. La razón por la que creo que vamos a ir simplemente a altos históricos es porque viene el dato del PIB para Estados Unidos en menos, me parece que en menos de 20 días, y va a ser brutal. Brutal, 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 por lo que yo veo personalmente, y sigo con mi plan, un blow off top, que es un blow off top cuando tienes un movimiento muy dramático a la alza y después se revierte para abajo. Eso es lo que pasó básicamente en Bitcoin cuando se fue ¿se acuerdan que estaba en $3,000 y dio un putazo hasta los 20,000 por primera vez? Más o menos eso. Y después bajó cabrón. Más o menos eso es lo que yo estoy esperando acá, porque el tercer cuarto no va a ser bueno y sobre todo con lo que están haciendo ahorita en Estados Unidos es la repetición del primer cuarto. Espanta a todos los inmigrantes, mételos a casa, no hay gasto, no hay dinero mandado, etcétera, y eso afectó bastante al gasto. Por lo que Q3, me imagino que estamos haciendo un zigzag de no mames, pero irrelevante de todas maneras. Aquí vamos a altos históricos. Venimos de esta gran bajada, una gran bajada que tuvimos justamente por la excusa que les dan de los aranceles. Llegamos hasta acá, un gran momento para comprar y pues quien aprovechó y le está yendo bastante bien. Ahora, habíamos venido y nos encontramos con esta resistencia diagonal, meme en resistencia. El primer toque no lo pudimos lograr, segundo tampoco, pero en el tercero se logró y estamos por encima. Para no hacerles el cuento cansado, les voy a enseñar y la mensual. ¿Qué es lo que sigue? Estaríamos en long, probablemente no queremos perder esta línea. Tal vez lo hagas en un weekazo, no uno de estos, pero esta línea debería aguantar. Si esta línea aguanta, deberíamos ir a los 6,087. Estos 6,087 sería el siguiente nivel a romper y ya de acá estamos hablando de máximos históricos. Es lo que estamos viendo con el SP500. ¿Dónde es la oportunidad de entrada? Oportunidad de entrada es cada que vengas a tocar el promedio del 9 y el 21 sería tu máxima oportunidad. El promedio del 9 en este momento está en 5,948. Y el 21 está en 5,876. Acá, estas van a ser tus máximas oportunidades de entrada, las mejores, más claras, para poder aprovechar el rally que viene, si es que se llegan a dar. Si no, la primera y más pinche va a ser simplemente la línea meme por acá en los 5,868, una vez más. Ahora, les voy a poner el HPDR, el pedorro, ¿no? El HPDR. Bastante sencillo. Siguiente objetivo va a ser, una vez que estamos ya por encima de la línea azul, deberíamos ir a correr al 61,8%, que está justamente en medio de todo esto. Y nos gustaría, básicamente, y esto confirma un poco eso, viendo la media en los 5,936, que esta va a ser una gran zona para poder acumular o ir en long en el SP500. Ahora quieres jugarle al verga y hacer un short, el corto lo tienes hasta acá arriba, entonces no te queda ahorita para nada, a menos de que estés considerando que este fue tu top en 6,660 y esa podría ser tu invalidación instantánea. El SP500 se va a correr a máximos históricos, estamos esperando básicamente esto, a que venga a tomar esta línea y esto para justamente coincidir con esos grandes resultados del Q2 que van a hacer que todo el mundo pierda la cabeza y se le olvide lo que estamos viviendo y la manipulación que acaba de ocurrir, porque no nos acordamos de nada. Y ahí tienen el SP500, aunque, perdón, les quería poner la vista mensual. Y ven por qué mensualmente hablando tenemos nuestra media, estamos entrando en la parte baja de la zona azul y eso nos da aire limpio hasta los 6,300, debería ser nuestro siguiente objetivo, y la parte alta de la zona azul 6,656. Entonces, tiene bastante camino para correr, esperaría el retroceso de esto, no tendrá nada que ver con venirnos al 50%, probablemente al 38,2%, en los 5,900 sea donde esté esa oportunidad una vez más de entrar justamente acá. Entonces, SP500 se ve bastante bien, alcista, lo ves potente, ya tuvimos el rechazo de la media primero, lo habíamos perdido, ahora venimos la segunda vez y parece que la vamos, bueno, por estadísticas y probabilidades favorecen que vayamos a tocarla y está en máximos históricos, en los 6,300. Ahí lo tienen, la parte alta de la zona azul en 6,600. Vámonos con Bitcoin. Los Bitcoin, ¿qué moneda? ¿Qué te digo? En los Bitcoin en putiza estamos entrando en la zona azul justamente en la mensual, además de que en la mensual tenemos espérame, neta, o sea, ¿en serio me va a hacer esto? Además, espérame, rápido, el SP500 está a punto de crear el setup de volatilidad de aquellos más chonchos que da, así que estén al pendiente con eso. De vuelta con Bitcoin, porque Bitcoin nos está dando un setup de volatilidad mensual, uno de los más bajos en toda su historia, y el precio está favoreciendo a la alza. Este movimiento al alza lo van a poder ver por acá. Nos pone la media en los $137,000, que podría ser hasta acá el blow off top o hasta los $171,000. Nada me sorprendería en el caso de Bitcoin, porque saben lo volátil que es y tal cual como nos dejó pendejos a todos de $3,000 a $20,000, lo puede hacer tranquilamente acá. Ahora, estos ya no son movimientos tan exagerados como antes. Obviamente el precio es mucho más alto, por lo que no existe la misma cantidad de retornos que existía antes. Así que si te estás metiendo a cripto para hacerte rico, Bitcoin no lo va a hacer en mucho tiempo. Porque si pones ahorita $10,000 y sube hasta $170,000, estás hablando de un pompazo de 60%, ¿no? Entonces, si pusiste $10,000 en spot, hiciste $6,000 si llega a los 170. Por eso no es tan atractivo en spot, más que en futuros, como enfermos, por supuesto. Pero Bitcoin tiene este setup de volatilidad. Voy a llevarte a la diaria en chinga para que lo puedas ver por acá. En la diaria estamos por encima de la media y nuestro siguiente objetivo tiene que ser la parte alta de la zona azul, justamente en los 110. Una vez que rompamos los 110, podemos decir que el 61.8% es lo que sigue, por ahí de los 114. Bitcoin en la diaria, y lo puedes ver por acá, también está preparando un setup de volatilidad por acá, y eso nos dice que ahí viene un movimiento bastante agresivo del precio de los Bitcoin en esta temporalidad semanal. Estamos en camino a la parte alta de la zona azul, que coincide con el 61.8% en la diaria, que está por ahí de los 113,500, casi 114. Eso nos daría más altas probabilidades, una vez más, de irnos casi a los 130, que hemos visto una y otra vez. Volatilidad por acá no nos dice nada, está yéndose simplemente de lado y el promedio lo está alcanzando, así que vamos a estar pendiente. Y la de 2 semanas, que es una de mis tablas favoritas. También como objetivo tenemos los 114,200 en la parte alta de la zona azul. Estamos muy por encima de nuestra media. Nuestra media está muy abajo en los $92,000, lo que nos da más validez en esto, y probablemente ese 61.8% en los 132 sea completamente alcanzable para el precio de los Bitcoin. Ahora, si te estás preguntando, ¿pero qué voy a hacer, Alejandro? No me metí ahorita al movimiento de los Bitcoin, no te preocupes. Ahorita lo que estamos viendo es que muy probablemente vayamos a tener un retroceso. Disculpa, déjame te llevo a la diaria. En la diaria podrías tener un retroceso hasta tu 9, esa sería tu zona de oportunidad brutal, ¿no? Y también tu 21. Justamente acá donde está esta línea meme es lo que esperaría yo, y la puedes hacer tú mismo conectando pum, pum, pum con estos mínimos, que tal vez si Bitcoin te da una oportunidad gigantesca, venga a consolidar por acá y bolas antes de ir a esos máximos históricos. Por ahora, y esta es la manera más sencilla de hacerlo, porque puedes cortar tu long con este o esta vela. Así que del 103,722 no, o sea, esperaríamos que aguante, y una invalidación sencilla 104, aunque estando en 107 para nosotros, creemos que el 106 es donde vaya a haber la oportunidad de entrada y no más por ahora. No te defomo todavía, estamos entrando en la parte alta de esta zona. Una vez que llegamos a esta parte alta y tenemos cierres por encima, son altos históricos, así que esto nos está invitando una vez más a chingada madre, a marcar un nuevo alto histórico en los Bitcoin. Listo, ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros, una vez más, oportunidad de long probablemente por ahí de los 106,000 planos, si te sacas la lotería 105,200, antes de ir a máximos históricos. pero y simplemente invalidarlo con cualquier cierre por debajo del promedio del 34. Ahí lo tienen. Vámonos con Amazon.
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 Amazon Libre.
We're gonna fucking get sued to high heaven, motherfucker. They're like, you
What,
cannot
by
combine
Amazon?
both, right? And
How
Mercado
dare
Libre.
you trash our names by combining them?
Exactly.
Alright, so Amazon on the quarterly is right at the reset zone where it is starting to flip back up, and volatility is sitting at 0%, 1.92% to be exact. And the jewel is still on a buy signal. It lands up with the price coming all the way down to the bottom 38.2% and getting a very strong buyback from there. It is now currently up, 33.39% from the bottom wick low on this quarterly candle. Probably happened within the last couple of weeks too. And people who ended up buying these lows off of what was it, the tariffs, quote unquote tariffs, when the market went down, are sitting pretty happy right now. And we are once again back over the median. Median's at $207.71. That takes us straight up to the 38.2%. Right now is at about $250. How much are they going to be up at that point? They're going to be up like 55% at 38.2%. They could probably even sell at that point. They'll walk away happy. And we're probably going to go decently higher than that 38.2%, considering volatility is coming from 0%. Let's see, last time momentum started expanding when volatility was somewhere around this low. That was to the downside. Not quite. From here, I guess we can use it. We went up to the 50%, I believe, 50%, 61.8%. Let's see what the 61.8% sits at right now. That's it, roughly about $275 per Lex Luthor Amazon. Monthly it's currently flipped to the downside, but it has not confirmed just yet. Well, volatility is flipped up. So if we can get a close over this candle's wick high, which is sitting at around, I believe it's $214.84, that is going to flip momentum back to the upside, getting back over the moving average, and that's going to take you at the very least to this median, which right now sits at right around your current highs at about $240. Get over this area though, which lines right up with the median, it's going to take you up towards that $280-ish area. 2 week is already doing that same idea with the monthly, where it's flipping to the upside. While volatility is sitting at 1.92%, and now we've lost the sell signal, and we've put in hidden bullish divergence because we made a higher low. We are now right at that median. Its median's at about $213.61. If we can start to get over there, that's going to take us towards our current highs. Where then the monthly is going to kick in, taking us towards about 280. Weekly is starting to sort of flip down, but it's technically still above the moving average. We're at the edge of that bullish control zone. If we continue to see a closure above about $213.57, then it's likely going to flip back up from here, and then we should see a move from here into about 240s. If we do close below about $213.57, we're probably going to see a pullback first into somewhere around $208, and then a move into 240. 5 days currently still flip to the upside with volatility support, and we're getting a nice 5-day expansive candle. We want to see a close over about 214.84, which lines right up with this 78.6%, and that's going to take us up towards that 240s. 2 days also flip to the upside with volatility very close to expansion, and now we're getting a fresh buy signal on the jewel. We should see a move from here into this 38.2%, which right now sits at about 218. We can close over that 38.2%. That's what's going to take us towards 240. Many different ways to get to 240. Daily is already over that 38.2%. We're getting our current daily wick low is right to the top of the 38.2%. We're right at the edge of the bullish control zone. Volatility flipped up. So if we can close over this 50%, which is at about 250 and 63, that takes us towards 78.6%, which is a lot higher. That's sitting at around that 226 area, getting closer into that 240s. Then if you can get a daily close over about $245, that takes you into about 280 over the next couple of weeks. 4 hour is also freshly flipped to the upside, back into the bullish control zone with volatility support. Now the 4 hours giving you a nice jewel buy signal, the pink crossing above the yellow, light blue above everything else. If you do get a close below this candle's close about 213.53, you'll probably see a pullback into the low 200s, but as long as you're closing above that area, you're probably going to go towards 240. Let's check the other side. Quarterly still has hidden bullish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing above about $184. And your next move is into the bullish control zone, which right now sits at 248. Wow, right around 240. Beautiful. Monthly. Monthly also has possible hidden bullish divergence. It will confirm with a close over $214.84. And then your move is into the simple moving average, which right now sits at about 279. That's at that 280 level. Interesting. Both levels come up on the RSI. 2 week has hidden bullish divergence confirmed. Going to be active as long as you're closing over about $197.85. And your next move is into the neutral zone, the mid zone, which right now is at about 227. And then the simple moving average is at 249. Oh, 240. I love to see it. Weekly currently has bearish divergence. It is very close to being invalidated. It will invalidate with any closure above about $214.84. And then that takes you up towards 240. Let's see if it lines up with any of our RSI targets. On this setup, it does not, but it does on the other one. Nothing there. Nope. Nope. No. 4 hour currently has many drives of bearish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing below about 213.70, so it's very close to invalidating. And then if that invalidates, that takes you towards the critical zone, which right now sits at about 233, just below 240. Now we'll check the momentum. Momentum is currently flipped to the upside on the quarterly, with volatility expanding from the lowest level it's ever been. And it's currently flipped to the upside as long as you're above 215.84, which is slightly below right now, but we got 21 days and five hours left to go. And last time we were in the critical zone freshly was right around here. Let's zoom out so you can see. This wasn't even freshly. This was freshly. Price was sitting at around $6.91 last time we freshly broke into the critical zone on Amazon on the quarterly.
Sorry,
then,
for how much?
Last time we freshly broke into the critical zone on Amazon on quarterly momentum. Price was sitting at around $6.91.
Oh my god!
And then we did, I don't know, I can't do the math, from 691 to 200 and something dollars. That's quite a lot.
That's like a 3.5x.
I think it's a lot more than that.
I'm sorry, $6 to. Oh yeah, like 6. Damn,
Yeah.
I don't actually. I'm getting a brain fart, so I have no idea. But yeah, it's tremendous.
It's something like 10 to 15 times.
Fuck.
And if we just do a simple 10x from here, it takes Amazon at $2,000. Lex, what's his name? Jeff is gonna be happy.
Oh, Jeff is gonna love it, especially his wife. It may not show on her face, but it's just all the Botox. She'll be just really happy though.
Monthly is currently flipped to the downside, although projection is you're going to open this next month. Come on, let me zoom in. Right at the edge of the bullish control zone, and from here it should be easier to flip back up. And plus, you got 21 days, so there's still a chance you can get back over 236 with the monthly close. So either way, it should have a bullish outcome. With volatility now coming to extreme lows, sitting at 14%. 2 week has already flipped back up, giving you with a derp of life. Last time you had a derp of life was right over here. Price was sitting at $110, and you did a 100% move to the upside, more than that. The other time you had a derp of life was right over here, and then you got a mean reversion bounce. But how much was it? Let's see. About 27% to the upside, still something. You had one right here, another little bounce of about 25%. Let's just do the minimum of about 25% from here. 8% so far. 25% would bring us to about right around that 240s area. Really cool. And we are pointed up as long as we're above 182.50. Weekly is pointed up with volatility expansion as long as you're above 181.75. 5 days pointed up with volatility expansion as long as you're above 177.60. 2 days freshly pointed up as long as you're above 206.20. Well, volatility is currently contracting, very close to getting back into an expansion state. Probably will once you close over about 214.84. Daily is already getting that volatility expansion from 2 periods of 0%, while momentum is currently pointed to the upside, about to break into the critical zone, and you're pointed up above about 206, and you're putting in hidden bullish divergence on the daily, which is already confirmed. Likely would give you hidden bullish divergence. Sorry?
No, damn, the volatility setup.
Yeah, you have this volatility, you have hidden bullish divergence, you have momentum pointing up, it's all leading towards a bullish outcome. Plus, you got that silver cross on the 4 hour too. Oh no, I mean not 4 hour, the daily. He might take his place back on as number 2 from Zuck the Cook.
And well, 4 hours Zuck's only... about to make way more money too.
Well, oh yeah, that's true. Because Meta's probably going up as well.
Oh yeah.
And Amazon is still below 50% on volatility, so it can still continue a lot more. Easily getting at least to 240, but probably is going to go higher than 240 with the volatility setups on daily and does have on 2 days. Well, which one was it? Volatility. It was the monthly. Monthly and the daily volatility setups likely take it a lot higher than 240. 4 hour. 4 hour also has a volatility setup for many periods of 0%. This one's slightly over 50%. This one probably gives you a short term stop of somewhere around $240-ish. But since it's only a 4 hour setup, you're probably not going to even see it on the daily chart. 4 hours is going to be pointed up as long as you're above $212.69. Nice. And since you're pointed up and volatility is still only at 54%, you probably should see a nice steady move into around $240, which is the high time frames now. Amazon and the high time frames are now freshly flipping to the upside on quarterly. It looks like somewhat of like a United States pattern, something like that, where momentum is pointed up as long as you're above about $216. Monthly is currently flipped to the downside, but you are approaching right around the edge of the bullish control zone, which the pivot should go down, but also you have 21 days left to go. And based on the lower time frames of the daily, it is very likely that you can get over that 236 area in the next 21 days. Because daily is giving you a volatility set up for many periods of 0%, and you're getting momentum pointing to the upside. Going along with that, with hidden bullish divergence giving you high probabilities, you're going to go into the $240 area. which would then flip the monthly back to the upside, giving you hidden bullish divergence on the monthly as well, giving you high probabilities of going into the $280 area. And the invalidation of all of this is getting any tick below about $161 or a closing basis, getting any weekly close below about $197. Those are the two invalidations. Otherwise, I would look for a move into 240s, maybe a slight pause there, and then a move into somewhere around 280s.
Damn, son. 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jeff Bezos is going to be happy. Oh, look.
Maybe.
Oh, well. It was foretold.
It was written in the stars.
It was written in your charts, and I just copied it. So thank you. Oh, my God. This is why playing stocks, dude, so nice. It's so nice. Like the pace I'm adding to my Amazon, to my NVIDIA long right now. It's fucking good. Feeling good.
Yeah, I'm looking at NVIDIA too. Okay, I hate when I can't find. Oh, there it is. My watch list just has all this shit. Yeah.
Well, remove Fartcoin. I'm just kidding.
Damn. Yeah, Amazon looks great. Wow.
Yeah. Explaining to your accountant why you have 78,000 transactions on Fartcoin with $2 million of volume and $163 of profit.
Well, you know, trading's not easy. That's why, Mr. Accountant. Also, Gizcoin is all over my charts, and he's not going to be happy about having to. I'm always holding it too, but sometimes I just can't hold it anymore, and have to just dump it all over. Sorry. Ok. Vamos a empezar Amazon en la vista grande, damas y caballeros, en la trimestral. Por supuesto que Amazon está en una mega tendencia alcista, lo pueden ver desde su historia, ¿no? Lleva en la bolsa desde los 90s y en este momento tenemos un alto histórico justamente acá en los 220, en los 242.50. Es justamente el alto histórico, estamos cotizando en 215. Todo muy alcista con bajos más altos y obviamente altos más altos. Así que Amazon tiene fuerza. Además de que tiene fuerza, tiene ganas el hijo de perra. ¿Por qué? No, es más, esta la pondría acá porque te dio un setup de volatilidad a la alza y continúa empujando en la trimestral. Lo puedes ver, está en 45%. Eso nos dice que va a continuar empujando a la alza a Amazon, a Jeff Bezos y a todos sus planes malignos de cerrar todos los negocios chicos del mundo y robarles todas las ideas para poder él venderlos en su propia plataforma como lo hace siempre. ¡Qué gran plan de negocio el tío Jeff Bezos! Obviamente, ¿qué es lo que sigue después de haber hecho mínimo, alto más alto, un bajo más alto? Debería ser un alto más alto, es lo que debería de dar continuación a este movimiento. Vamos a ver si es cierto. Les pongo el HPDR en la trimestral para ver cómo se ve. ¿Cómo se ve? Ahora sí que la empresa de Jeff, güey. Sí, Jeff, qué buen pedo es. Pueden ver que la oportunidad gigantesca vino en la parte baja de la zona azul, en ese retesteo en la trimestral, ya rompiendo la media en los 207, y eso nos pone un objetivo de $250 casi frescos. Y ya estando ahí arriba, ya saben que el 61.8% es cosa de tiempo, y eso lo pondré en 273. Nada mal para la empresa de Lex Luthor en la vida real. Mensual, estamos por debajo del 15%, está preparando. ¡Wow! Me acaba de llegar un mensaje. Dice, hola, soy Linda Jackson, alguien que recluta para Amazon. Nos mandaron tu currículum, que fue recomendado por muchísimas personas y diferentes compañías. Después de darle un vistazo, hemos decidido invitarte a una entrevista. ¡Wow! ¡Qué oportunidad tan grande! Porque ni currículum tengo, pero me imagino que hace una oportunidad gigantesca y no solamente un spam para querer quitarme mis passwords y mi dinero. Volatilidad en Amazon está preparando tal vez uno de estos, no sé, pero por ahora está lista para explotar en la mensual. Bueno, está lista cuando sea para explotar en la mensual, pero ahora tenemos también nuestra media justamente en los 238.63, bastante cerca de esos altos históricos, pero ahí justamente donde está nuestro cierre más alto de toda la historia. Una vez que podamos romper los 238 y no perder los 207, nos debería de llevar a los 278 una vez más, justamente lo que habíamos visto en la trimestral con el 61.8%, y acá en la mensual nos lleva hasta los 307. Amazon podrá llegar a los 307. Yo digo que sí, Jeff Bezos puede hacer lo que sea, hasta llevar a su mujer a la luna. Lo único que no puede hacer es sorprender a su mujer y que lo vea en su cara, simplemente por el Botox, no por nada más. Aquí me imagino a la gente que está llegando a esto, que están viendo y haciendo trading y de repente oyen estas mamadas. Perdón, es literalmente no tengo nada dentro de la cabeza. Y aquí mi trabajo es fácil, solo tengo que repetir lo que nos dicen. Acá en la de 2 semanas podemos ver que Amazon, empezando volatilidad, está contrayendo, no nos dice absolutamente nada y estamos justo ante la media. Estamos arriba de la media está en 213. Siempre y cuando aguantemos, nuestro siguiente objetivo va a ser la parte alta de la zona azul. Una vez más, 235, 238 continúa apareciendo y el 61.8% nos lleva a los 250 que nos ponen altos históricos. ¡Históricos! El hecho que tenga aquí la 9 y el 21 justamente en los $200 es el área donde yo diría, aquí hay una trampa también especial para todos ustedes. Esta trampa especial es este gap que existe en la de 2 semanas. ¿Por qué? Porque justamente esperarías a que el gap se venga a llenar en los 194, pero esta sería una jugada hija de puta, venir a hacer el mínimo acá en los 199 para después explotar a los 235 y dejando como tontos a todos los que se esperaron a que el gap se llenara. Así que esa es una excelente trampa de la tabla. Vamos a la que sigue, semanal. Tenemos también expansión en volatilidad y esta expansión en volatilidad viene ante este velazo verde, lo que nos debería dar más preferencia primero de romper los 220 y después los 234.59. ¿Qué tanto nos gusta tocar la zona del 88.3%? No mucho, ya me aventé varios años para atrás, así que vamos a dejarla ahí para no ponernos locos. Lo que vamos a hacer probablemente es consolidar un poco por encima de los 220, clac, 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 y ya de ahí darle al 78%, llegar hasta los 230 y cacho, que nos tome tantito tiempo y bolas para arriba. Diaria nos da un setup de volatilidad también, con volatilidad nula. Este es un setup absolutamente explosivo como los de jamás. Así es, tú escuchaste bien, los setups de jamás. Cuando tienes volatilidad nula, tienes a la volatilidad por debajo del 15%, obviamente es volatilidad nula, es 0% en 2 sesiones, y después tienes esa explosión arriba del 15% que lo está dando justamente donde puse la línea meme, y ahí pueden ver esa explosión a la alza, invalidando esta vela topera, y ahora estamos ante el 50%. ¿Qué queremos hacer? Simplemente romper los 215.63 a la alza, y eso nos va a empezar a llevar a nuestros objetivos más altos. Amazon es una tabla bastante sencilla. Voy a quitar el HPDR y se las voy a dar toda la información muy rápidamente, ¿no? Pueden ver la oportunidad grande, como siempre, fue justamente aquí con los aranceles. Ahora vienes en camino, justo como el SP500, tienes también cruces plateados en la de diaria, en la de 2 días, y esta tendencia acabas de romper este máximo, así que esto te debería llevar mínimo a los 220, consolidar un poco por esa zona y después empujar a la alza. La oportunidad más grande de Amazon se daría si puede llegar a los 200. Yo la veo difícil, honestamente, pero todo en este planeta es posible. Los 200 están más o menos por acá y aquí es donde está la trampa tendida para todos de, güey, va a bajar más, y bolas, no va a bajar más como Tesla, que me prometieron y me dijeron que iba a continuar bajando, pero no lo hizo. Amazon lo tiene bastante sencillo, no estás en zona de long en este momento, yo me esperaría un retroceso, 208, el promedio del 9 sería tu primera oportunidad, el promedio del 21 debería ser tu segunda oportunidad para agregar, y de ahí esperar a que Jeff Bezos haga lo suyo y que Amazon se vaya a la luna con toda su magia negra y esa avaricia tan deliciosa que tiene. Vámonos, damas y caballeros, a ver Tesla, una de las favoritas de todo el mundo, por supuesto, y después nos vamos con Oclo, que nos la pidieron por acá, como de que no.
Nice. Let's see if we're so back on Tesla. So, what do we have here? Well, we had a nice loss of the daily SMA 200. Seems like a lot of people are trying to long this still. for me, the invalidation is very clear. To long or to short even. Let me get out of Discord. This isn't a no trade zone, rather a short zone. You're not really looking to long this, especially right here. We see 300 is a nice psychological number. It's also resistance. We've seen Tesla dump before, rally up, reject the 300 before the real move down. So we want to be very cautious here. Except in this scenario, we're under all major moving averages. So it's going to be very important to see the reaction at 300, check the daily, see if we get the daily reclaim. And then that can maybe give bulls some momentum to at very minimum reclaim the SMA 200. Because until otherwise, I mean, bears going to be looking at this high to hold, resistance to be resistance, and then for Tesla to make its way down to 263. When we start going to like the weekly, though, it starts becoming more clear. You can just very well see where you can logically long this. Weekly 9, as always, is a big spot for any chart. This is lining up or will line up nicely with that $300 mark. You start closing any weekly closures back above the weekly 9. This will then start looking more like a bottom. And that's just based on the monthly. You can see here the monthly 9 is actually directly at 300. So this is kind of solidifying how important this spot is going into this month. You need to start seeing this monthly 9 hold. And then this can have a real shot of expanding us up. Until then, you're just going to see the battle of bulls and bears bears trying to reject us at 300, bulls trying to reclaim specifically that SMA 200, grinding out a bottom around 300 before going up. The 2-day is nice because it's closing today, and you can just see kind of where we're at. You're getting kind of compressed in between that 34 in the EMA 100. What's nice now is we are right at the EMA 100. So this is closing in 4 hours. You're going to really be able to gauge if Tesla's going to have any kind of hopium on this 2-day close. It starts specifically losing the EMA 100 while the daily's already lost the SMA 200. It's going to be implications for me that this is extremely weak. This overall held the breakdown. Resistance held, and then we've also lost the EMA 100. We've seen when the EMA 100's lost on the 2-day, this can often lead to big moves down. So, this is why when we shorted the SMA 200, it gave us a nice trade here. This was overall like a 7% short. And what was nice about this short is it directly rejected it. This is often nice when you get an SMA 200 loss. This gives you like easy money to short this. So we got the easy money, we closed it. Bulls are going to really try to solidify this price divergence and move up. And that's why 300 is kind of the zone to be watching for on Tesla today. You're either going to reject this, start moving down into the close. You're going to lose the 2-day EMA 100. And then Tuesday, you're going to start rejecting that. Or this is going to hold. And then bulls can actually have some kind of hopium here where they're trying to grind out a low on the 2-day. Before inevitably grinding up and reclaiming that $300 mark, getting back above the daily SMA 200, and also specifically the weekly EMA 9. Daily SMA 200 and weekly 9 are basically at the same zone. So 306 to 305 is going to be a really big spot. And that's why for me, I'm just looking at 300 to like 306. Could easily start with, let's say, the daily, potentially reclaiming back above 300 today. Solidifying, bullish structure here before breaking out, reclaiming above the SMA 200. That to me is what we want to see going into the weekly. Getting back above the weekly 9 would be a really good sign, because what we've seen in the past is the weekly 9 really can reject Tesla hard. This is the first time we've lost it within this range. So you just want to be really careful on the reaction this week. You're either going to reclaim it SFP, and that'll give us a bullish retest play, or you're just going to reject it. Similar to when we lost it, we rallied up. This rejection led to a pretty harsh move down. So it's going to be a pretty big week on Tesla. I think volatility will be there, and the easy long is going to be, once you're back above 300. Until then, aggressive longs could get hurt here, and that's just shown on the 2-day. Let's check the 15-day now. Look at that. The 15 days, even the 9's right around 300. So it just seems like 300 is a big spot shown here. You don't want SFPs. You don't want rejections. You just want it to hold. It broke out. Yeah, topping candle on the 15-day follow through. That's concerning. There's more implications for this not to hold. But if it does start to hold and everyone's getting bearish on Tesla, that could be a really good sign that this actually might make a move up, back up to the range highs around 370. We won't know until we know, though. Already at extremes on the 15-day. I mean, you almost hit the 95%. It's interesting to see that.
Even the daily or even the weekly, which one's the one? There you go. It's crazy.
Yeah, 97% too. So you are at extreme lows. It will be funny if like this little price divergence holds for bulls. Overzealous bears get smoked. Because this was truly an easy short. This was easy. And when I see Bitcoin moving up, looking bullish, it's kind of what I've been saying all day. Just implications for risk. Tesla is risk for stocks. So, we saw Bitcoin go down. Tesla went down. Yes, I know the news and Elon and Trump fighting, yada, yada, yada. But like I showed before, I mean, even the daily here was kind of getting bearish before all that. Losing the daily 9. Bouncing off the median, top candle, follow through. Now, yeah, you rejected the SMA 200, but this very easily could start moving up, putting a nice green candle. Once it is back above 3, specifically, once it is back above the weekly 9, that to me we'll be able to call that a bottom. Or at least locally, you're holding the median back above the EMA 9, 300 got reclaimed. This would have all the recipes to go up at minimum to 325, 326. At that point, I don't see why we were not going to go up to 370. So, yeah, I mean, you're either going to reject here and come lower just by a little bit, and it's either going to line up with, that 260 to 266 getting hit, right? This broke out, just retesting it, or yeah, this is going to front run that, and this is going to start moving up this week. It's going to be important though this week to see this start moving up, if at all. I think you are going to start seeing some kind of move, and as it stands, being at the extremes, this does have more of a chance of a bounce here, surprisingly. So I am glad we did short on Friday, and I'm glad we closed this today, right when markets open, because when I'm seeing Bitcoin all weekend and it starts breaking out, generally it is a recipe for risk on to start moving up. So in summary, you're basically watching 300. That's the move today. You're trying to see if that's going to get reclaimed. If 300 can get reclaimed, it can give you more momentum to move up to that SMA 200. Once the SMA 200 reclaimed, that'll be a really good sign at the bottom. Could be in for Tesla, and then this could start moving up to at very minimum 327 to 370. 370 is kind of the spot. I'm just looking at it in the bigger range. Once you get back above 300, you generally move up to 370 over time, of course, but the range just works. So I'm just going to play that. The weekly, though, into Friday will be important. Getting back above the weekly 9 will be a big spot. That'll look like a nice SFP. And then, again, just will look more in favor for bulls. Till then, you're kind of in the gray zone. You're actually more watching the short, this zone, and have your stop loss here. But I would just be really mindful that this is in the extremes. This should have honestly kept breaking down, and it did not. And now today it is starting to move up. So this very easily could do something like this, and then just green dildo candle up, and then nice weekly throw it back, and then moves up to 370. Everyone's kind of getting bearish on Tesla here as well. So it does make sense though. As long as you're under the SMA 200, this will be in bear territory. But the point is, this has a real possibility of reclaiming that and then moving up, trapping all these horny shorts that basically got a free ride down to 260. So big spot here. Retest, reject, or reclaim and move up, in my opinion.
Very nice. Thank you, señor. Vale, aquí está Tesla. Me pregunta Ramón cuál era mi objetivo de take profit de TP en el corto de Tesla, 286. La razón por qué es porque ahí es donde justamente acá, la parte baja de estas velas es lo que yo tomaría. porque no estoy esperando a que vaya a ser un nuevo mínimo. La razón por la que compré el rebote es porque viene también lo del robotaxi y todo eso. Y esta tabla es idéntica a la de Amazon, por ejemplo, y puedes ver en Amazon todo el momentum positivo que tiene. Puedes ver que de acá a acá lo mismo está pasando. Entonces, Tesla simplemente se está yendo obviamente no es idéntico el movimiento de todo, pero relativamente niveles son casi los mismos. Ahorita lo que yo estaría esperando en Tesla no ha cambiado la cosa para nada, ¿no? Continuamos en las mismas posiciones. Queremos romper los 300, empezar a cerrar arriba de 300 y una vez que lo hagamos, llevarnos el S&P 200 y el IMA 100 por acá en los 307. Una vez que tengas cierres por encima de eso, yo creo que vas a poder tener aire limpio para irte hasta los 300.